Yeah, I'll be moving the pieces basically. Right. Oh, they did. Did you download them? No, I think Danny sent an email to all of us. Hmm. Not really. No, I think I got them. Somebody sent an email. Matt sent an email. Yeah, I think that's the one. Hold on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. This is the third round of the Chess Pro League, and we're here together with Irina Krush, the many-time USA champion and one of the best female players in the world. Nice to be here with you, Irina.
Thank you, Dejan. I'm also very excited for this inaugural event.
It's an exceptional event. It's the first time I think that we are ever doing anything like that, and I don't really believe that anything like that has been done in the world before. So people are watching this from all over the place. Can you please tell us a little bit more about the format of this event, because you're more familiar with that one? We in Europe, we don't know so much about it.
Well, the Pro League is an outgrowth, I think, of the US Chess League, which started about a decade ago, and it's something that I participated in from the very beginning. Now it's basically on a global scale with cities all across the world competing in their own divisions, and the winners of those divisions are going to meet in the semifinal and final matches.
Right.
So tonight we're covering the Atlantic Division, which are teams from, I don't know, my part of the woods, a lot of teams from the East Coast, but also teams from South America and North America, like Canada. And some of them have the names of familiar U.S. Chess League teams, like the New Jersey Knockouts, the New York Knights, there's one of the Philadelphia Inventors also is a team that existed before, but a lot of them are completely new to the league, like the Patagonia Penguins, the Buenos Aires Krakens is the first match that is starting tonight, and the Canadian teams, Toronto Dragons and Montreal Chessbras.
Right. So can you please tell us a little bit more about the top players that we are getting here?
So tonight's first match is between Buenos Aires and New Jersey, and the New Jersey Knockouts have their familiar players, Alexander Strapunsky, Joel Benjamin, Alexander Fishbein, and a young player, Alexander Katz. So that's a lot of Alexanders on one team.
Right.
Except Joel Benjamin, all others are Alexes. And they're playing a team from Buenos Aires, a lot less familiar to me. I mean, they have one internationally famous grandmaster, Sandro Moreco, 2600 player, but they also have some strong IMs close to 2500 rating, because every team does need to balance out at 2500 FIDE. So not everybody can be, a 2700 player on their team. There's got to be a balance. And they've got some players close to 2500, pretty young players from 20 something to 30 something years old. So actually, this match is, I think, going to be very competitive because Buenos Aires is generally a younger team on average than New Jersey. New Jersey has a lot of experience, but Buenos Aires has youth.
But we know that the younger players are faster, and that's why you have the feeling that this is not going to be very easy for the American team, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, their one young player is Alexander Katz, who we can see he's playing, let's see, I think Mario Villanueva on the fourth board right now. That position doesn't seem too exciting yet. What was the opening in that game? Let's see if we can bring that up. That
Well,
was a Petrov.
right now I have opened another game. We are looking at another game. This is the top board. Sandro Mareco is playing with the white piece against Alex Tripunsky, and we have a
Okay,
typical
let's get to that.
structure that arises from the Khan defense. And
Yes, Strapunsky, that's his favorite opening as the Khan Sicilian. So not a surprise to see that on the board.
he fianchetted the bishop on g7, and we are getting a typical hedgehog pawn formation after that. So Strapunsky jumped with the knight on e5, and I guess that he has a lot of experience in this position. So he's about to fianchet his bishop on b7, and eventually he'll be looking for chances in the center. He will try to break open the position with a move like d5 or typically with b5. Typical stuff for the hedgehog.
Yeah, I mean, white might also be looking maybe at the move c5 somewhere
Or maybe
in
even
these
f5.
positions.
White
Or
should be looking
which
for
one?
c5, right?
Yeah. What else could white be looking for here? Well, there's the d6 square.
Right.
Is something that black hasn't managed to actually put a pawn on yet.
And most likely he's not going to put a pawn there because he's going to lose it. Right now white is threatening, or he's pretending that he's threatening to take on e5, because sometimes black is ready to sacrifice a pawn in this situation for the two bishops. But, oops, sorry, I did it myself. This wasn't played in the game, excuse me. So queen d7 was not played in the game. I just wanted to show that this pawn was hanging on the previous move, and white was threatening to capture on e5 and then to capture on d7.
So now it looks like white is threatening the move f4, actually just trapping this knight in the center. Kind of unusual, a knight in the center is supposed to be good, but here it's starting to look vulnerable.
Yes.
And black has to find a way out. How is he going to save that knight?
The two knights are beating themselves at the moment, so this knight that came on c6 to support the knight on e5 is now obstructing it, and in case of f4, the one on e5 is going to get trapped. So one idea is probably to go even knight a5. Oh, but then he's going to lose the pawn.
The problem is that the d7 pawn, right? I mean, we're going to play knight takes a5, pawn takes f4, knight c6, and queen d7 doesn't look that great for black.
Yeah, definitely. This is a healthy pawn this time, and he's not even giving up the bishop pair for it. So black has to think of something else.
Yeah, I guess the way this differs from a regular hedgehog is like, first of all, black doesn't have a pawn on d6. He didn't have the chance to put it there. He doesn't have the time to put his queen on c7, his rook on d8. So it's kind of like a lack of time here for black just to set up the proper hedgehog formation.
How exactly is he defending the pawn? That's a very tough question, actually. I don't see anything at the moment, to be honest with you, and it seems like Stripunsky is also not seeing anything. He's down on 7 minutes, while Mareko is very, very fast. He spent only 1 minute on his clock.
Yeah, he's played this very confidently, and I think black's got some insurmountable problems here.
Doesn't look good for him, definitely. Also, knight a4 is a threat to take this pawn on b6. It's not just one problem with the pawn on d7. So this doesn't look good for the American player. How about if we move now to one of the other games?
Let's take a look. Fishbane, yeah. What's going on here? So Fishbane has got a solid position, but I would say it's also solid looking for black. Maybe slight, I don't know, maybe slight preference to whites. I don't know, because of the way the pawns are on the light squares. But overall, it doesn't look like very much for whites. Does it? I mean, black should somehow be able to equalize this.
Yeah, most likely he is thinking about capturing on d4. And then again, perhaps b5 followed by a check and recapturing.
Yeah, exactly. B5. That makes a lot of sense. I think he's got to take on d4.
Check on d4.
Bishop d4. Yeah, black looks completely fine in this position as well.
Yeah, then probably just check first and then b5, or maybe b5 immediately, and after this capture.
Yeah, I mean, white will probably want to trade queens, right? With queen f3.
Queen f3, right?
Maybe and bring the king to the center to f3 right away.
After the capture on f3, you want to take with the king?
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah, definitely you can. In the endgame, you can do whatever you like with your king.
Yeah, because we want to maybe put the knight more actively on e4 if we have a chance.
But it looks like a good position for black anyway, I believe.
Yeah, like a decent position. But at least in this game, Fishbane is up on the clock.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we also have the game Napoleon versus GM Joel, right? So let's take a look at that. Joel is white and, sorry, Joel is black, and it was a Sicilian. Bishop b5 Sicilian.
Right.
And that's something that Joel also has played as white quite a bit. Here he's on the black side of it.
Interesting. Yeah. I have played like that with the white piece against Nick de Fermian some time ago. And this idea of bringing the queen on h5 and trading the queens is very typical for this position. And white definitely, well, he has a choice actually of trading the queens and going for slightly better endgame sometimes. Or, and I think that it was Magnus Carlsen who has, no, Vishy Anand defeating Magnus Carlsen, the young Magnus Carlsen, long time ago in a similar endgame. So basically he took and then he somehow grinded him down. Very untypical for Magnus, but he was young back then. Right now, knight f3 was played, which is more to the
So
point.
it looks like whites, I mean, I don't know. I would probably prefer to play whites in this position.
Why? Because of the queen on h5?
I mean, just in general, they got the space. The pawn is kind of active on f4. There's some e5 ideas.
Yeah.
Just looks like white has some more active ideas here than black at the moment.
Yes, on the surface it's like that, but on the other hand, it's not that easy to push the pawns in the Sicilian, as you know it. And
he probably has to, I mean, right now black has to defend against e5, right? The immediate threat is kind of there, so he needs to maybe figure out what to do with the knight on d7 that's going to hang.
Exactly, yes, so that's the main problem. Maybe he will go rook d8, or maybe he will go knight f8. We will see what exactly is he going to do. There is one more match which is in progress at the moment, Patagonia. So let's see who is playing there.
Started. Oh, Patagonia. We also see Gusenov. Has that match started? That game hasn't started yet, has it? Oh yeah, it has. Wow, a lot of games have started. Gusenov is playing, I believe, for the Atlanta Kings.
Right now, I have opened another game. This is the game between two grandmasters, Like Machine, which I believe is Batur Sambuev from Canada, and he's playing with the white pieces against Alexander Lederman. He's playing
wow,
with the
that's
pieces.
already the Toronto Dragon. So we've got a lot of matches that are going on right now.
We have plenty of those. This
yeah,
is true.
they all start now. The fun begins. Okay, so I see. We've also got. Yeah, I think I have found that game that you're talking about. And you're talking about Batuyev. No, Sambuev.
Batur Sambuev.
You need to get that mixed up. Against Alex Lenderman, it's a Karakan.
Is the pan of
what
attack.
can you say about this position?
Well, in the pan of attack, white got the isolated pair of pawns on c3 and d4, and right now he's saving his bishop from the threat knight a5, which would have been great for black to treat as light squared bishop, and after that with b6 and bishop b7, black would be actually a little bit better. And that's why the bishop is going backwards on e2, but it seems like black is actually solving his problems after see something like b6 followed by b7, and then after that knight a5, and he will be trying to block these two pawns and eventually to make very good use of them in the endgame.
Yeah, I like black's position, and I think his bishop on g7 is kind of perfectly positioned here, because normally, I mean, white would like to push the pawn to c4, and before it gets blockaded, right?
Right.
And when you push it, the bishop is already staring at the d4 pawn. So I'm thinking black has good chances to kind of seize the initiative in this kind of position. Of course, white, protects the pawn, and he probably wants to try to play c4.
And d5 after that.
Yeah, d5. Black has to figure out how to stop that. Maybe we'll see a move like h6. But I guess that doesn't... Yeah, I mean, I wanted to try to put a rook on d8. That's the dream, but the bishop would just go to h4.
Well, actually, I think that h6 is going to help just white, because after bishop to h4, this bishop will have an access on this diagonal. It will go on g3, and it will attack the queen. So most likely, black is going to play something like knight a5 followed by rook c8, but now he's trying to figure out if this is going to be good enough for him after the move c4. This is what I think this is what I think he's thinking about. But the other typical idea for black is trying to play e5 and to somehow destroy those pawns in the center.
Yeah. In this position, that's probably going to be difficult, right? e5, d5 looks like that d pawn can get pretty far. I mean, maybe you can play that way. My feeling is like we're probably not going to see e5, but I don't know, after knight a5, queen b4.
Oh, you mean if knight a5 immediately?
Yeah, if knight a5 immediately, I guess queen b4, right?
queen b4 or queen e3, right? And then let's say I go rook c8. What are you going to do next? Knight c4 is the positional threat.
Yeah, and if you go c4, so there's bishop takes f3 idea.
Right.
Bishop takes f3, knight takes c4, bishop e2, and now black's gotta somehow save themselves.
Queen d6 doesn't work because of rook c4.
Yeah, there's a move like b5, queen b5, and like knight d6. But no, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but this loses a piece.
Yeah, loses a piece, right, because the bishop's on e2 already, yeah.
Right.
All right, so he went for knight a5. Let's see how he plans to use this c4 square.
He did play the move knight a5, yes.
Yeah, see, I know Alex. I can predict his moves.
That's great. I also know Butters on both, and I can tell you that he is extremely aggressive player. He likes to attack. And that's going to be a very interesting game to watch. But we also have to pay attention to some of the other games. We have a bunch of games that we need to try and to cover. Now we have Mike Arnold playing with the black pieces against another Grandmaster, Attack to Mate You. I'm not really sure who that Grandmaster is, though.
I think we can we figure that out? So Mark Arnold is playing for the Montclair Sopranos.
Right.
And he's playing a team, the Toronto Dragons, where Sambuyev is from. And on that team, Sambuyev, it could be, I don't know, it could be Nikolai Noritsin or Thomas Roussel Ruzman. I think one of them has made GM.
I think Roussel is already a GM, and he has been a GM
right,
for a very long
that looks
time.
like him. So it must be Roussel playing this. Although I don't remember Roussel being an E4 player. It might be Razvan Preotu. Do you know him?
He is very young and talented player, originally from Romania, who moved to Canada. So I think he also became a GM quite recently. Yes. Though this is the person people are helping us at the moment. It is Razvan Preotu. Young, gifted player, as far as I remember. He played under 16 this year, the World Championship, and he did very well, if I'm recalling correctly. So this is quite a young team from Canada, obviously, and a quite strong team, I guess. But Mark?
Yeah, I've played Razvan Preotu, so I was like, and I've also played Thomas many years ago, and I remember that Thomas is not an E4 player, but Razvan is, you know? So somehow you can make some deductions like that about who is who. Of course, with Mark's handle on chess.com, it's a lot easier.
Right. He disappeared from the chess scene for a while. I have played him 4 or 5 years ago, and then he no longer plays chess.
Yeah, he went to college somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know if it was, I think it might have been to Indiana, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, he was away at college for a while, and now we do have the names of all the players, so this is going to be a lot less confusing. And we can tell you guys that in this match, let's see who they are.
I can tell you that I think I like black's position quite a lot at the moment, and I was thinking about the move d5, but then I realized that there is the move e5, typical idea, and if the queen takes it, then bishop f4 is quite a nasty shock for the queen. It can still go to f5, but after bishop d3 I don't see any more squares for it.
So you're saying you like whose position here?
I like black's position, but I don't think that d5 is going to be a good idea because of the move e5.
Right.
And,
so now we're probably going to see the move knight a5.
Actually, instead of trapping the queen in this situation, I just realized that this knight on b6 is hanging, so that would be much easier, in fact.
Oh, yeah, that would have been easier, yes.
What are you saying? What did you ask?
I'm saying a knight a5 is probably the idea. And black looks completely fine, I would say, right? I mean, queen c7, and maybe the knight shouldn't take the bishop yet. Probably he shouldn't.
What are you suggesting then? Knight a4?
Knight a4 I was looking at, yeah.
Knight a4, and then
I guess
something
you
coming
could
in
take the
b6.
bishop, but then in what, like rook a2 or knight a. I mean,
You can always take
yeah,
it.
black is definitely pretty comfortable here. I mean, white, this is not a very aggressive Sicilian position for white.
Right. So we were expecting a long maneuvering game here. So how about if we go back to the game of Sandro Mareco
Right, let's
against
take a look. Alex
Alex
Strapinski.
Tripinski, and I think this is pretty much game over already. He's down a piece, Stripinski, so obviously he couldn't get away from this difficult situation. Let's check really quick what happened. Knight c6, bishop a3. He tried knight a5, the move that I mentioned.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned the refutation, just capture f4 and...
Right, he actually played e5. He didn't even take the pawn.
That's
So he made an
horrible,
improvement
yeah.
because black had no good way to defend this pawn.
Right.
He didn't want to play knight b8, I guess.
Well,
Very...
Nobody wants to play knight b8 in this situation.
Yeah, knight b8, knight a4, and things aren't getting better. Or, yeah, I mean, knight b8, there's also, you can throw in bishop c5 maybe somewhere, but...
Or knight a4.
He lost that pawn, and he tried to go for some activity, but it really was never anything. He just lost a piece. So this was an opening disaster for Alex Strapinski, and his Khan variation, it was a bit of a dubious line of the Khan. I've never even seen this g6 so early.
Yeah, horrible disaster.
Tried to set up a hedgehog, but I think the hedgehog forgot to put his needles out.
Right, you stay there. And on the top of that, Stripinski is very low on time, which is not a good sign for his teammates, because losing a game very early is a possibility all the time, but thinking that long in the opening and for the whole game is not a good sign for the rest of the games that he's going to play. Then another look at the game of Fishbane.
All right, Fishbane is playing the international master. He's playing Sebastian Iermito.
Yes.
So rated close to 2,500.
Young perspective player.
He is 23 years old, approximately, maybe close to that. And let's see what we got here. We were saying that black looked very comfortable, right, coming out of this opening.
Mm-hmm.
And is his position comfortable now? I think so.
It looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
The only problem I can think about... Wait, isn't he losing the exchange?
Yeah, what is that move? What just happened? You must have an idea here. There must be something. All right. So what is that? Is that like...
He's sacrificing a bunch of stuff. So knight
he wants to take on b2 or something? No. Well, I mean, he's going to have a rook and a bishop for the queen, but that looks like it was like a blunder.
I don't really think that there should be that compensation.
What he was planning. I think he just blundered here. Well, he had no time, actually. If you look at the clock, he's had like 35 seconds. So maybe that's the issue, because now it looks like white is going to be having the queen.
Probably rook c2 is an option, threatening knight to e3, but no, he took on b2. That should be a loss then. That should be a loss because...
he's going to take on c1, move his knight somewhere.
Most likely on d4 on this.
Yeah, I mean, he can even play queen c4, maybe throw in an intermediate move, could be nice here. Centralize the queen. Okay, he just moved away. So yeah, should be technically winning for white pretty easily.
There is no fortress in this situation, yes. So it looks like Fishbane is going to level the score after this game.
Yeah.
Assuming that Mareco is winning his game, and he already won. So this is about that match. We are moving then to the next game of this match.
Crypto, right?
Crypto, yeah.
So this looks like he has got no time, and he's a little bit worse.
This is Alex Katz playing with
Alex
the white
Katz is playing Mario Villanueva.
All right.
Let's make sure we got that right.
But without the queens on the board, I don't really think that he is going to lose this one. Because
the queens just got traded, right. Well, still, okay. I I mean, I could see White losing this. I mean, he's got less space, right, on the king side. So now like knight h5, I don't, and knight f4. I guess he's gonna put the knight on e3, but still, something tells me like this black has some chances here, especially with this time situation.
Yeah, definitely he will push for the win. Definitely, but it doesn't seem so much fun. How about if we go back to GM Joe Benjamin playing with the black pieces against Napoleon? Who was Napoleon? The fourth game of this match.
I think it's okay. It's Napoleon. One second, we're gonna look this up really fast. Napoleon is Sebastian Iermito.
Yeah, that's the young player. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Sebastian had won a piece.
So we liked his position a little while ago, and he did push through this e5 move and got all active with knight e4. Yeah, nice outpost on d6 for that knight. Actually, I really liked the way he played on g4. Wow, that poor queen almost trapped, won a piece, and now he's just winning.
Right.
There we go. Nice game. So far this match is looking pretty good for Buenos Aires.
Right.
And the youth is triumphing over experience.
Seems so. We said so. Young players are very fast. Let's go to the other match. Again, we are looking at the game of Batterson Buev playing with the white piece against Alex Lenderman, and there is an endgame already, opposite colored bishops. White has a very dangerous passer on d7, which is about to get promoted. Rook c8 is always a threat, but the opposite colored bishops are giving chances for black definitely in this situation.
Actually, yeah, because the e3 pawn is hanging, and also bishop b6. The bishop is really excellent on that diagonal. That's a key move for black.
Exactly.
And question for white is how he defends this e3 pawn, right? With king f2 and now I guess king e2 on rook f5.
Yeah, maybe in between check on f5 to force king e2 to block his bishop.
Oh, interesting. He didn't give the check. I would have thought about that check, but he wants to just bring his king. So yeah, black is looking solid. Once he gets his king to e7, he's not going to be in danger here.
Right.
But maybe he should have thrown in that check, right? Put the king on e2.
Right. So block the bishop, and after that...
Yeah, now that bishop is coming back to life on c4.
Right. But I guess black wants to play f5, g5, and f4 as fast as possible, and that's why he didn't give the check. He didn't want to obstruct his pawns.
Maybe black even has going to have some advantage here. Can that be possible? Or some practical advantage, or maybe not in this time situation.
Yeah.
He played really fast to get to this point. It's almost like blitz, right?
The clock situation is not very good for him. He has less than half the time of his opponent, and this doesn't look good.
But actually, like white, what is white's plan? His rook is trapped on b7. It's not moving in the foreseeable future.
Right.
And maybe, if black can do something with that rook on e5, what is black's plan? Okay, there we go. Start to attack some pawns. Right,
yeah,
create some weaknesses.
He can also go from this side. He can go rook a5 and then try to trade rooks. If he manages to trade rooks, if he forces rook d2 takes it, then he can go king d6. And like I said, this rook on b7 is quite vulnerable. He can go for it.
Exactly, he can trap that rook, right?
Right.
And now maybe rook a5, No, I'm thinking, black is actually going to try to win this position.
Mm-hmm. Well, he can repeat the moves if he likes, so this means that he's out of danger. And
so my prediction is that black wins.
Really?
Isn't it fun to make predictions? Yeah.
You know Alex very well.
Yeah, I do. And well, that's just a prediction. We gotta say something.
Right, rook a5 has been played as well, so maybe white should go rook d2 to defend himself. He did. And
f5.
f5,
yeah.
And if g3, g5 most likely, so yeah, definitely it's much easier to play now with
and
the black
the rook will go to a1 maybe.
On g1?
Yeah, rook to a1, come to g1, yeah.
Yeah, there are ideas. I agree with you. This rook really got stuck on b7. Okay, let's go to the next game. Attack for meat. So this is Rezvan Preauto playing with the white pieces against Mark Arnold. We have seen the knights on e5 and on e4, and the pawn came on c4, so white is trying to grind out his opponent a bit on the queen side, and the typical idea is after that to go for b4, eventually b5 or c5, depending on the circumstances.
So do we like white's position here? So he didn't take the bishop, right? He played knight a4, knight d7, rook a3.
No, he didn't take it. The only thing that
Yeah.
I'm curious about is what is this pawn going to do on h5? Is it going forward? Is it going to h4 into h3? Most likely it has to. Or maybe it will be defended with g6. I don't know.
So one interesting question is what's going on in the move d5? Did you look at that?
Yeah, d5, most likely c5.
c5, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because this pawn on e4 is not hanging. The knight on d7 is also hanging, and on queen takes on a5, both the bishops are hanging. We can take either of them. But hold on a second, there is also the move rook d8 in this situation, and after queen c7, rook d1 check.
This move makes sense, bishop a8, because I mean tactically this bishop was always just hanging there.
Mm-hmm.
And now this rook probably has to move. Also, the rook was probably going to b3 anyway. Maybe.
Irina, I think that we are missing some important games. Let's go for the game of Gadir Guseynov playing with the white pieces against Linier Dominguez, known as James Sebastian. Yes, we are missing the top game of the round so far.
Oh yeah, let's get to that. So Miami is already started. So Linier is Dominguez is Perez Sebastian, and all right, let's find him, Perez Sebastian.
Right. So Dominguez is down a pawn at the moment.
Oh, I found him, yeah.
And there are already some results, as we can see. So first of all...
a lot of results, actually.
Fishbane had won his game. He was up a queen, so this is not a great surprise. And
look at that one. Remember the knight end game? Black wound up winning that one.
Really?
Yeah, Black won the game. The knights somehow even they get to checkmate white.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically Buenos Aires won very convincingly 3-1.
The first stage of the match, yes.
Yeah. And they're playing more, right? They're playing they're playing 3 more matches like that.
Wow.
So wow.
Everybody's playing everyone. We should explain this to our viewers for those who are entering now and who don't really know what's going on. There are 4 players in each team and they're playing each and every one from the opponent's team. So every player plays 4 games in a match. So we also have the match, yes.
Miami versus...
Joe Benjamin has lost this one, being down a piece. That's another result. Mark Arnold.
So now we're going to to Miami, right? So Guseynov is playing Dominguez.
Okay, yes. Let's go there.
Dominguez is playing for the Miami champions.
He's down a pawn.
Yeah, so what is this 4-4? And he's down a pawn, so Guseynov looks like he's got very good winning chances.
Right, but at the same time he's low on time. Right now he's 1 minute less than his opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And also if he captures on g4, black is going to recapture with the knight, and this pawn on d3 is going to be doomed.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's not that easy to convert this advantage. At the same
what
time,
kind of move can he make? I mean, there's rook f to e1, but there's other moves.
Rook f to e1, most likely he's going to capture on f3, and there will be a weak pawn on f3, which black can start immediately attacking with rook to f4. And there is no king g2 because of rook g8 check, and the pawn would be lost anyway.
Yeah, we could try rook e1 to e3 there.
Instead of king g2 to defend like that. Mm-hmm.
Maybe like that.
And there is the interesting move knight g4 nevertheless, though, in this situation.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Move. Yeah.
Knight g4.
And then let's say the pawn
Yeah.
takes it, and we take with the rook on f2, and white can take on
Actually, we can
h5.
try rook takes h5 there. Are we getting mated? Not yet.
That's a good
Yeah, we
question.
can take rook takes h5, always give back a pawn with rook f5 if we need,
Yeah,
and keep an h pawn.
right.
So I'm thinking, I mean, rook fe1 looks logical, but there must be something he's worried about.
He's still thinking. He played rook f5, okay.
Yeah, so he's just going for an attacking move like that, and now he's probably going to play rook e1.
Some discovered attack, or rook e1, yes, and he wants to capture on f3 with the rook.
Yeah, no, I like rook f5. I think the rook is really well positioned there, right?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, king
g1.
Okay.
Also not a bad move. Rook e1 will follow anyway, and then most likely the king will come to e2, and even to c3 after that, or to e3, to get into the action.
I mean, the only thing is that black could play like rook e6 here, not to let the rook go to e1. That's maybe something to think about. There's a move like king d7, but I don't know if black really needs to
bring the king
out. Yeah.
In any case, it seems like white's chances for a win are very serious here. Do you want to stick with this game, or you want to have a look at another one from this match?
Well, let's go to from this match. So let's just see who else we've got playing this match, just so we are clear about that. So Miami is playing Atlanta. Now, Atlanta is Zapata, Guseynov, Kazim Ghulam-Ali, and Carlos Perdomo. I mean, we can take a look at what else is going on in that match. Maybe Zapata, right? Oh, Guseynov offered a draw.
Really?
That's shocking.
How?
Are they winning this match? Why would he offer a draw at this moment? It's a little surprising to me.
Definitely, it's quite surprising. How do you see the draw offer, by the way?
I just saw it, like I was watching the game and it said he offered a draw. I've got these games open. GM Zapata. Let's see if he's still playing.
I don't really believe that Guseynov had offered to draw in this position after the move rook e6, and black didn't accept it.
Right. Well, it did say that. That's weird. No, it definitely. Yeah, Sebastian declined to draw.
In the meanwhile,
it really says that all on my screen.
Right.
This happened, and that.
In the meanwhile, Irina, I need to disappoint you because the game between Batur Sambuev and Alexander Lenderman ended in a draw.
Total disappointment. I mean, what happened in that? Wasn't he better? How did that?
I think Alex should buy you a drink the next time that you see him for losing this one.
Yeah, because he made me look like such a bad predictor.
Right.
Yeah, well, white found a way not to lose that rook. Okay, so white somehow managed to make a draw.
We are still on the game Guseynov against Dominguez, so let's stick to this one because it's getting very exciting. And Dominguez is taking his pawn back? Yeah, it seems like
so
he can take on d3.
So what is he putting his rook on? I mean, really hard to understand this. Why black would decline a draw?
I don't get it neither. How is he going?
White's plan is kind of simple, I guess. Like
push, and a queen.
H4, H5, rook H4.
Pretty straightforward, and he can defend easily on the second rank. Anytime one of the black rooks comes on the second rank, he can play a rook f2, and that's it. There are no checkmates. So
is black gonna play something like rook b3 and just try to win some pawns over there?
You know that Usain Bolt is running on the other side, and it's going to get promoted before black even captures enough pawns. Okay, let me make a statement then that Guseynov is going to win this one. Let's see if I'm going to be right in comparison to you, okay?
Yes.
Okay, we keep on betting that.
Right. No, I like to do that. That makes things much more interesting.
You're a gambler? I didn't know that.
I like to make predictions. I would not call myself a gambler.
All right. Okay, so we're expecting h5, rook g6, h6, h7, rook g8. Stop me if you can.
Yes. So that does appear to be the plan. So I guess he's going to have to give up the rook and try But unfortunately, White's still going to have the G pawn, one
Hmm.
G pawn left. So it's not like he just has 4 pawns there.
Interesting. Also, rook h4 seems interesting, but then he's kind of slowing down his pawn push, and there'll be rook h6. So rook g6 was played as we were expecting. I guess the rook will have to go back on e8.
So rook e8 and
And then
h6
h6,
and rook
h7 the
h8.
threat. Yeah, rook h8, rook f7 followed by
Rook
h7.
f7. Yeah.
So he will have to sacrifice the rook, and then, like you said, there will be a g pawn left on the board, which is not going to make black happy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. All right. So what other games do we have to look at?
We didn't check the match of Patagonia against Columbus. So we have Christopher Shen playing against Anders Aguilar, I believe. Rook e7 was played, so let me check one of those games of Patagonia against Columbus.
So Shen is called Sis 9772. Let's see if we can find him. What's funny is that the matches have restarted, right? So, like, for example, Buenos Aires and the New Jersey are playing again.
Yeah.
So it's like it never ends, right?
Right. Okay, this match did not yet start, though.
They've started. So Shapunsky is back. They've already played quite a bit. And what else do we have here? We got Attack to Mate You. And, we never saw any games. Let's see. Some more games with the Montclair Sopranos.
Just give me a second. I want to see how Linear Dominguez is going to get checkmated at the moment, because rook c7 is coming after that. The rook will come back on f7, there will be checkmate. He doesn't even have to promote his... Now c5 would be a nice move for white, and most likely this is what will happen. Yes, and then checkmate is coming. I'm expecting Linear to resign at this moment. And then we are moving to whatever you want to do. Yeah, some tricks before resignation.
I think we just found the Sis 9772. Now, I think that's from the Columbus Cardinals. Honestly, Dejan, I'm so confused with all these games. Christopher Shen, yeah. So that's Columbus Cardinals, and
we have
playing Patagonia Penguins. So who he's playing right now? He's playing Burritos, who is Andres Aguilar, and they've just started their game, so we kind of missed, I guess, the beginning of this.
Did you mention the burritos?
Yeah, a burrito. It's time for dinner.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry at the moment here.
So it's an English attack. We can come back to this because this seems like it's the beginning of their match.
Let me close the game of...
See, I think basically chess bras and knights are probably maybe still at the end of their first game. So I think that would be a nice match.
Did they start the chess bras?
Yeah, and I'm trying to just find if you can find any games from chess bras versus knights.
You know that in the chess brass, the top board is this guy, Mr. Fabiano Carana, but he's not going to play today. Neither another top board, Mr. Erik Hansen, is going to play because he's already in Netherlands for the very important Vikings tournament. As far as I remember, he's going to play the B tournament, and he will try to make it to the A1. But they still have very impressive first board today, who is Li Chao from China.
I've got something interesting. How about Hammond versus KNVB? This is who are they? This is Canadian team. Hammond.
Just give me a second. Let me find Hammond.
Yeah, they're down to seconds here.
Okay.
And Hammond, come on. Let's find you.
Yeah, I just opened it.
Oh, Hammond is so Montreal Chess Bras is Amon. Hamilton is KNVB.
Amon is very good at blitz.
Oh yeah, this is really exciting. So Mark Paragua is white.
That's
going
really
on here?
exciting.
They've got different pawns, and they've got no time at all. No.
They will be checkmate.
There's gonna be mate here, isn't there?
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah, rook
checkmate.
h2 probably. Oh, he sees
No
the forced
checkmate.
mate. Yeah, well, we did find that game at the very last exciting few seconds that was
Right.
left.
Perfect. Just in time.
So I think I'm kind of understanding how this is working, Dehan. We gotta like because some of the games start later,
Right.
like then you want to like focus on those while the other ones are just getting started again for the new round.
Right.
So basically the Montreal Chess Brawls are finishing up their match against the Knights. They're the last ones. Them and the Toronto Dragons are the ones that go last. And right now, probably we should go back to the earlier games like Buenos Aires versus Knockouts because they'll be at some interesting points in their game.
This is where I am at the moment. I'm looking at the game between Joe Benjamin against Sandro Mareko, and Joel is doing much better than in the previous game. Although I think that Sandro Mareko is looking for counterplay on the queen side in a very, very nice way with the move a5 at the moment. He's trying to open the file for his rook and to get something in return for the two bishops. What do you think about this position, Irina? Do you think that white is going to play for king h2 and bishop h3 at the moment? Or?
All right, let's take a look. So Joel's position is looking pretty nice, isn't it?
No, I'm talking rubbish at the moment. King h2 and bishop h3 is dropping the knight on f3. Forgive me, people, it's 2:30 a.m. in Bulgaria. If I'm dropping pieces left and right, this is normal.
Where you were, Dejan. I mean, I was like, do you also live in the New York time zone?
No, I live in the Bulgarian time zone. It's 2:20 actually in the morning, and this is all Danny Ranch to blame, who lied to me that I will start at 11 p.m. instead of 1:30 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because it's a very convenient time, for me. But it's only 7:20 p.m. here in New York. But yeah, I mean, in terms of this position, I like white. I mean, because it's very difficult to get past that rook on c7. I don't see how black's gonna really get rid of it.
I like the move b5, which kept this rook closed.
b5 is great. I mean, the thing is, like, c5 is an outpost for the knight, but not so much in this position when f7 is hanging and
especially
d6
d6 is hanging. Yeah. So after bishop d6, this outpost is going to disappear.
Bishop d6 is maybe not the biggest problem because bishop d6 there's knight e4.
All right.
But even there, I mean, there's like queen f4. So somewhere it's going to hang, and I just think with such a strong rook and the bishop pair, like, white must be a lot better in this position.
It's quite difficult to play with the black pieces. Also, he has some problems with his queen on g4, even though white cannot easily take it, but he can keep an eye on it.
So let's go through some results, Dejan, of round one.
Sure.
So we know Buenos Aires beat New Jersey 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Patagonia, a team we going to learn more about, beat the Columbus Cardinals 3.5 to half. Atlanta versus Miami is 3-0 at the moment. I don't know, Atlanta, Miami, what's going on in that last game. Maybe what exactly happened in that Dominguez game? Are they still playing?
He resigned long time ago.
Won. Okay, so you got that one,
1-0.
right? And
1-0 for me.
1-0, yeah. Carolina versus Philadelphia is 3-1. And who plays for Carolina? Carolina versus Philadelphia. Let's just learn some of these players. Carolina is Carolina actually won that match. Wait, I got to see that again. Carolina beat Philadelphia. That's amazing, actually. I mean, 3-1, and I don't even know a single player playing for Carolina. I mean, I know one of them, Peter Giannotto's. He's like a master. But I don't really know the rest of these guys. And Philadelphia, we've got two grandmasters playing.
Wow.
Andriy Volk and Sergei Ehrenberg. And also like a FIDE master, Andrei Zaremba, someone I know since I was a child. So that is actually kind of a big upset. I mean, if a team of pretty much unknown players beats a team of two grandmasters, that's an upset. Carolina beating Philadelphia. Toronto just beat Montclair Sopranos 2.5 to 1.5. So Toronto is the team of Batur Sambuyev, Razvan Prayatu, Nikolai Nordson, and Thomas Roussel Ruzman, and they beat the team of Alex Lenderman, Dan Smith, Mark Arnold, and Pascal Charbonneau. So let's definitely keep an eye on that match and see how they do in the rematch, because I think that looks like a pretty close match, and I find it pretty funny that Pascal Charbonneau, he's Canadian, and now he's playing against a team of Canadians. So they used to be on the same team playing at the Olympiad, him and Sambuyev and Nordson and Roussel, and now they're playing in opposite teams here.
Well, the world is a very small village, actually.
Yes, and now Montreal beat New York, the Chess Bras, with Li Chao, that we just have to see him in action this time,
Right.
beating the team of Udasin and, let's see. It's Philadelphia is ahead 3-1. Okay. There was a mistake in the data entry. Guys, so let's, I was shocked. I was like, how in the world did Carolina beat Philadelphia? But actually, it's Philadelphia that beat Carolina. Well, that makes a lot more sense. So the world is still normal place.
Okay. Even though a small village. We have to pay attention to this match as well, of Carolina, I guess, the next match that they are playing. We didn't have a single game yet analyzed. So, but before that, let's find a game of Li Chao and see what's going on there.
Yeah, so Li Chao is playing for the Montreal Chess Bras.
For the Chess Brass, yes.
And his name is Chess Op. And let's see if we can find him, Chess Op. He should be in the middle. Oh, let me see that. There was a little mistake here. Okay, let me see that. Oh, here we are. Beautiful. Well, he's just started. So that's the problem. They've just started their games. So that's why those we'll want to get to in about 15 minutes, those next two. And I think for now, yeah, we got the Buenos Aires team, and we could take a look at what's going on again at Atlanta Kings versus Miami Champions, right?
Which game am I going to
Dominguez
choose?
is playing again. He's playing Grandmaster GM Mazapata. I think that must be Alonso Zapata.
Yeah.
And let's just make sure about that. Miami Champions. Oh.
Yes.
Why don't
His
you just
name
bring
is
that game
GM.
up?
His name is GM Zapata, so most likely this is the person.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look. So, Linear Dominguez, top player from Cuba, over 2,700 FIDE, about 2,750, I think these days. And this is looking a little similar to some of the positions we've seen today.
He's one of the top blitz players in the world, by the way. So the team of Miami is one of the contenders for this championship, for this league. And they have Hikaru Nakamura on their roster as well. But Linier Dominguez is one of the top players in the world, and recently he did also very well at the World Championship at Blitz and in Rapid Chess as well. So actually the game that he lost against Gadir Gusenov might be considered as an upset, even though Gadir Gusenov himself is a great blitz player, famous blitz player.
Yeah.
And you can say that pretty much every Azerbaijani player from their national team is a great blitz player, in fact. Okay.
So what do we think about this position?
I like white.
Yeah.
I like white.
Knight is going to c5.
Excuse me. This wasn't on purpose, taking the pawn on a6. But I just wanted to highlight that this pawn might be in trouble in the future. Knight c5 is the only way to keep the situation on the queen side in control, but black shouldn't forget about the idea of knight e5 all the time. In fact, right now knight e5 might be an option for white as well. Even though it's not attacking anything, but it's quite an annoying move, which prevents black from castling after that. Because
And
of the fork.
actually, then the move rook c4 is going to be on the agenda.
Ooh, you're so bad. Except that
Yeah.
I'm once again blundering the rook on a4. So let's start with the move rook
Oh,
to
yeah.
rook to
Yeah,
c4.
you totally tricked me there.
Let's try rook c4 first, and then eventually knight to d5. I think this should be the right way to do it.
Yeah. Rook
Although,
c4 here makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Rook c4, queen b6, knight d5.
but now they can capture it because this is not coming with a check and attack against the queen.
Yeah, they can capture it, and if pawn captures, what do you want to play there?
Still, it looks very strong for white because now knight e5, white can capture this one, and after the capture, queen e5,
Yeah,
the rook on h8 is hanging.
that's the idea. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can go to d8, but it looks very dangerous. Wow. Okay. Interesting queen sacrifice.
He sacrificed the
If
queen.
black was given a few more moves to consolidate, this might actually work. But does this really give enough compensation? I would be very doubtful because black is not coordinated to allow himself to play without a queen like that.
Yeah, also bishop f4 looks like an annoying move at the moment, which is going to provoke the move e5 sooner or later, and then this bishop will get blocked.
Yeah. No, I don't believe that black could do this. I'm not sure if he was forced to do this or what.
Well, most likely after rook c4 and queen b6, he saw maybe knight e5 is really a very strong move after all. And after the capture and the check, king d8 you mentioned, but can this king survive there? It's quite doubtful.
You know what's really kind of unique about this event, Dejan, that I'm just kind of understanding is how fast-paced it is.
15 minutes per game and 2 seconds per move. This is really very fast. And they're
I mean,
starting...
we're getting to see so many games tonight against, like, you know, just a range of games. You know, they're playing not just one person, not like a match, but they're playing everyone on the opposing team. So we're gonna get to see 4 games from each player. Yeah, just like a ton of games, and it moves so fast. So it's very exciting.
So bishop f4 has been played, and black reacted with d5, and I can actually, well, I think that this is going to be too easy prediction, saying that Linnea Dominguez is going to...
No, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Okay, back to the game of Joel Benjamin against Sandor Mareko, where things got very complicated, and you can see that even though there is a very nice looking knight on c6, probably it's not doing that much, and black got a very good counterplay on the e file.
Yeah, I agree that white did not kind of deal with this probably the way he would have wanted, and now
He's losing the pawn on d5, yes, and
we don't actually know what's going to happen. Hopefully, like, how is he going to defend this pawn?
No way that he defends this pawn. What is more important, and I think this is very important for the match as a whole, is that obviously Sandor Mareko is calculating his time in a very good way, and he has 7 minutes on the clock, and he's controlling the situation on the clock. Not only that he is controlling the game, but the clock situation. This is extremely important when you have only 15 minutes on the clock. Right now, knight c5 will follow anytime this bishop moves away from f3. This is one idea. On knight c3 or bishop g7, I don't think that Joel is going to survive this one.
Yeah, well, what kind of move? Yeah, bishop g7, I think, makes a lot of sense. Try to activate that final piece. Any other moves here black can consider?
Bishop g7, I think he will play fairly quickly. Knight c3 is, of course, a move. And actually knight...
yeah, knight ec3
and knight c5.
possible.
No, knight c5 is winning material, because after bishop g5 takes on b7 and then check on e1, he is going to win the exchange.
Yeah, there you go. Knight c5 is just winning the game, isn't it?
Yeah, most likely this would be...
Knight c5, and there's no... Yeah, I mean, there's some move like... I'm trying to see if there's like a rook f7 move.
Ooh, that's cruel. But then first check on e1, still king g2, and probably just...
The king takes f7.
King takes f7, and on the check the king can go to...
Okay, for some reason he didn't go for that,
likes.
so he goes bishop g7.
Didn't he go for that?
Nope.
No, well, time is very low. Time is very low. In the meanwhile, the game between...
But maybe here, again, he's going to think about it. You can still think about that idea.
Can you please remind me who was Sis 9772? Was this Christopher
Yeah,
Shen playing
so
with the
that's
white
Christopher
pieces?
Shen. Sis 9772 is Christopher Shen
He
from
already
the
drew.
Columbus Cardinals.
He already drew. And also
So, and
another draw.
there's a girl playing there, a young girl. Maggie Fang is playing for the Columbus Cardinals, and we can
Oh,
see. I think
definitely.
she won the national junior high school championship.
For
Uh,
boys.
yeah,
For
exactly.
boys.
Well, she was playing mostly boys, I think. And let's take a look. That's champion forever. Is she still have a game on?
Champion forever.
Champion
Definitely
forever.
we need to check the game of Maggie Fang. She's our hero here. Let me see. Champion forever. Is she playing with the white pieces or with
Oh
the
yeah,
black
I found
pieces?
it. She's playing JC Arias. So champion forever. And she's got 3 minutes left, and it's some kind of, it looks like it came from a French tirage, did it? Let's see, yeah. Oh no. I don't understand anything. Look at that. It's like a D4, D5 opening. To me, I'm looking at this and thinking it's like a French
Hold on.
tirage.
Hold on a second. I just cannot find her yet.
Yeah, it's all the way down, and she's playing JC Arias.
Is she playing with the white or with the black pieces?
She's playing black. Yeah, you got to scroll down a bit. I got to tell you, it was not easy to find that game.
Yeah, just JC Aries. I found it.
Yeah, I found it. Great.
Okay.
So what's going on in this position? I mean, well, it really does look a lot like a French tirage, except black's bishop is, on G7.
For some reason, I cannot open this one. Okay, let me close one game. Alex Tripunski already drew. I'm going to close this one. Oh, my system blocked. I need to refresh. Obviously. Just a second, people. In the meanwhile, while we are waiting for the system to refresh, let me show you the prize fund that these people are fighting for, if you want.
That's going to be very interesting.
This is not a bad prize fund, I guess. $20,000 for the winner, for the winning team. I have never seen anything like that in an internet tournament. And we all know that the future, and many people are talking that the future is with the internet chess. And I think that we made one really big step towards that. Okay, you said that we want to have a look at the game of Maggie Fang playing with the black piece against JC Arias.
Yeah, and let's see who is JC Arias. That is Juan Cruz Arias. Juan Cruz Arias playing for the Patagonia team. Now, I know the Patagonia Jackets, and I think Patagonia is somewhere in Argentina.
Well, yeah, it's...
How's your geography, Dejan?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in Argentina, and a friend of mine was there this summer. So they say it's still one of the most beautiful places on earth, and we should go there. We should see it.
We should do our commentary from there, right?
Right, yeah.
Have chess.com send us there. A report locally.
Exactly.
Well,
Okay.
let's take a look. So, obviously, this is a slightly boring looking end game.
Yeah.
Black's position is actually a little more comfortable.
Right.
But
still,
white's pawns are fixed on dark squares. I mean, of course, black would dream about getting a knight to d3, but that's not really possible here. But still, yeah, I think black's a little better. I would definitely take black in this position. She doesn't have much time, though.
yeah, most likely she should go for b5 and b4 and try to open up this bishop and to reach the pawn on b2. But of course, white is going to react to that one with bishop d4.
Yeah.
So most likely the time factor is going to be the most important here. But in the meanwhile, I suggest that we have a look at some of the other games. Still,
Wow,
that
we
game...
just missed a tactic. 1 second. Look at that.
Which one?
This game, well, she played knight takes c3.
Did she?
So, that's going to spice things up in this game.
Ooh, that's a beautiful move.
Yes, that's something we just didn't notice.
Okay.
That is just giving black the advantage, isn't it? It just looks like it's winning for black.
Yeah, 2 pawns and a rook in the endgame should be clearly better than the 2 light pieces. I agree with you.
Wow. So yeah, I mean those pieces are not going to fare so well against the two pawns. Well, good for Maggie. I mean that was a nice blow there.
Yeah, definitely. Now b5, b4, the rook behind, and the pawns are moving by
By the
themselves.
way, guys, we are looking at the chat room. So if you've got any questions or comments, I am trying to follow that. I notice you guys are talking about that now. So yeah, don't worry. We've got our eye on that.
How about if we have a look at the game of Captain James? Arkady Naidich playing with the white pieces. Oh, sorry.
Wait, Arkady
No,
Knight
he's playing a blitz game at the moment. Excuse
Oh,
me, I'm
okay.
closing this one.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
Arkady.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't realize he was playing tonight.
Right. So we haven't had a look at the game of Mark Arnold. He's playing against another grandmaster, Batterson, believe. Looks like Mark is on the attack on the king side
So we're going to which one you're on? Batur Sambuyev again?
against Mark Arnold.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mark Arnold versus Batur Sambuyev. So we are going to Toronto Dragons versus Montclair Sopranos. Do you think we'll ever remember who's playing on which team?
No.
I don't know. That's gonna be a test. I mean, I guess if you prepare for like a week, you
Right.
can probably memorize this. All right, so this was like some kind of Slav defense or Moran. That's what it looks like.
Looks
And
really
very
horrible.
unusual. What in the world is this?
Looks very horrible for black, whatever they
Right,
have
it
played.
does. I've never seen such a thing. A knight on h3.
It's
How
trapped.
did the knights get there?
I know it's going away. It's going on the I file after that, after the move queen h2. It's going
Yeah,
west.
the I file. I'll meet it there. But I mean, that's terrible for black.
Right.
Every piece is just awful.
Yeah.
Wow, what a disaster for Batur.
Very bad situation for him. Let's go have a look at one of the top games. We didn't have a look at the game of Gadir Gusenov yet.
Yeah, let's do that. But you know what? There's also one game in this match. We haven't seen any games of Pascal. And I'm kind of curious that that's the same match as this one.
Mm-hmm.
And a real Pascal C is playing N. Nepenthe.
Who's also a
Let's
strong
figure
player,
out
obviously.
who in the world that is. N. Nepenthe is... Oh... I just don't know. Aren't they N. Nepenthe? Oh yeah, that's Thomas Roussel Rouzman. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Here we are.
Why isn't he a grandmaster? He doesn't even have a title, but he's a grandmaster. And his position looks very good.
So who is this looking good for? Looking good for white?
I like it for white.
Black.
I like it for white. You like it for black?
white. I don't know. I'm actually just trying to kind of understand it. In my first glance, didn't really produce any clear idea. I mean, to me, it looks okay for black. I think he's got the strong knight on d6 and the b5 square. So that was kind of my first impression. The knight on d6 is very good. So I'm thinking, yeah, with such a knight on d6, black can't really have any problem. The move queen f6 is interesting. I mean, he wants to force the issue, I guess.
Yeah, he's threatening
e5.
to win a piece. And most likely white has to take on e5. And I think white should take on e5, eventually trade the queens. And after the trade of the queens, perhaps even take on e5 and try to attack on the b and the c files. But like I said, and now I start appreciating what you're saying, this knight on d6 is an excellent
It's a
piece.
monster.
It's
like
a monster.
It's an octopus. Yeah.
Right, it's defending
like
the key
that
pawn.
piece.
Right. It's defending the key pawn, and well, then black should be okay. So they have traded on e5, queen e5. Now white is thinking perhaps he's not going to trade the queens. No, he traded.
So we've had some requests to like stay on a game or something for a little bit longer than we have been, you know, just to maybe stay a little bit. So maybe we can do that. How about we stick with a game for a couple of minutes here?
Okay, let's stay here.
Maybe do some more in-depth commentary and see how this game works out. So yeah, I mean, I am kind of concerned for white's position. What is his plan? He wants to go like d4 and b5 somewhere.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a good move, bishop f1. He noticed the bishop isn't very effective staring into the pawn chain. So now he's preparing the move d4. And it's really interesting because black has the move d4 as well. I mean, it exists.
Yes, but if you
I don't
play
know.
d4,
Yeah, I mean, it's not so strong, maybe.
if you play d4, I think that white is going to simply ignore you and play e4, and after that f4 and e5, and his pawns will start moving in the center.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't really think
interesting.
that
And
he's
also,
going to
even
buy it.
taking the pawn is interesting because, well, taking the pawn, it is interesting. I don't know, because if rook d5, there's rook c5. Okay, so he moved his rook away. And now, what is his idea on d4? That's the question of the day. White's definitely going to play this d4 move.
One
What do
idea
you
that
think?
black has, he can try to double the rooks on the a file to kick away this rook from a1. And another idea that he has is just to capture. So in case of d4, he can perhaps even capture and play for maybe check on a1 and then go for b5 and knight c4. Does he have time to do this though? So captures b5, and then he wants to stick a knight on c4.
But you mean you want to trade first, right, on a1? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
if you trade, there's rook a6, and
On rook
then
a6,
you have to go to c8.
right, but this is not a big deal. As far as I can put the knight on c4, probably this is not something that really worries me.
But the real question, yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if, like, on d4, if there's anything black could do to kind of not give up white anything, but also stop this b5 idea. You know, is
Which
there
move?
any plan or anything that we can do to make b5 less effective, right? Like maybe even the move d4
Oh, how about if white plays b5 here? Do you like the move b5? No,
right
but
away.
wait a second. It's black to move though. So rook e8, you don't have b5 definitely. And if you go d4, black has this idea of capturing on b4 himself. So most likely. Oh,
So actually in the game, Dejan, the move rook cb1 was played. Let's
rook b1 was
get
played.
back to that.
The idea is. What is the idea? Does he want to take on a5 and to put pressure on the pawn on b7? Most likely not. So he's just keeping his options open, and eventually he can play d4 in the future and b5. But I'm not really impressed by this move, honestly.
Rook cb1 is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably rook a7 simply is a very good move for black.
Oh. Well, there's an interesting move a4 here.
To block
I
the
don't know.
position.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like a4, and then if they ever played d4, then b5. But
I'll stick the knight on c4 anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah, but white to kill this pressure on the queen side, which is clearly in black's favor.
Right.
I don't really see a reason for that one.
So he's playing this move. So I mean, d4 is going to happen, isn't it? Or is it not? I think it's going to happen. He really should play d4.
I don't think
Otherwise,
that he's willing to do
why is
it.
bishop on f1? Huh?
I don't think that he's willing to do it, but he did it.
There we go. He did
now he wants to play b5.
Yeah. So what is Pascal's plan here? Well, I think he's probably going to have to do what you said, is to take on a1.
He started doing this, yeah. He took on
and
b4.
play b5. Yeah.
Yeah, most likely he's doing this. Probably we should move. Oh, he played b5 directly. Yes, now the rook is no longer on c1. He can do it without giving up the a file. This makes perfect sense.
So what did he play here? He played b5 right away. Yeah, because that was the weird thing about the move rook b1, right? Is that now this is possible.
Right.
That when the rook was on c1, you couldn't play b5 right away.
Because
but now you can, and you don't have to give up anything. So this is okay, some kind of happy news for black.
In the meanwhile, the game of Maggie that we were following ended in a draw, so she couldn't convert the advantage.
So I in terms of our chat, Dejan, here we got a statement like this: women got better things to do than waste time playing chess. Can you give us your opinion on that statement? This our viewers want to know.
Is this Nigel Short speaking, or it's somebody else? Is it somebody else?
Well, I don't think that Nigel Short would say that actually, because I don't think he thinks that chess is a waste of time. But Yes, I just wanted to say that I know, of course, that's kind of like said as a joke. I've read things like that many times actually. This idea that women just have better things to do than playing chess, but I can't say I agree with that because I think chess is a great thing to do, and I'm sure the women who play feel the same way that it's not like there's nothing better. So let's take
Um,
just a little update, by the way, guys. One match has finished, and Buenos Aires has again taken the match against New Jersey 2.5, 1.5. So Buenos Aires so far is leading that matchup 5.5 to 2.5.
we have another result. Sandro Moreco won again this game against Joe Benjamin
He won on time and I guess also on position.
on position.
Yeah,
Yes.
wow, that was quite a comeback. And I mean, that's the part where, the fact that Sandro Moreco is just he's an active player and Joel is of course past his prime playing years. And probably is the difference in this game because White had a wonderful position, but
I
else
don't think that he would be
good.
very happy hearing these thoughts about him. But all right, wait a second. We need to check some other games. Mark Arnold, back to this game. Are they still playing? Well, they are playing, but black is two bishops down, and this is not exactly what he's
Oh
playing
yeah, so he's
for.
still playing, except Mark doesn't have too much time, but I don't think that he's going to have a problem winning with two bishops.
Right, most likely rook h2. Oh no, he just defended tactically with the back rank mate. Okay,
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
White won. That's okay. So he's got a 1 point lead in that match, and um, Sopranos have that 1 point. And in this endgame, okay, they're going to play for a while. What is the other matchups that we've got here? We've got um, Lenderman. Lenderman is also playing for the Sopranos. Let's take a look at his game. He's playing Razvan Preatu, and Lenderman is white. He's up a pawn in a rook endgame. And I would say he's better, and he's got excellent chances to win, actually.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of more time.
and the main reason is that black cannot take on f2 because this pawn is going into a queen. He has an outside pass pawn, and now the only thing that black can do is to give some checks and trying to disrupt white from this plan. But after king d5, I don't really see how is he going to stop that pawn. In case of rook d3, he is going to capture on e5, then come back and help the pawn. So most likely this is game over.
Yeah. So I think the Sopranos are going to take this match and even things out. I mean, they did lose their first match and they lost by minimal score, and they are going to win here with maybe more than that. So they might take the lead in their matchup.
Right?
And let's take a look at what is going on in Nepenthe versus Real Pascal C. So that is Thomas Roussel Ruzman versus Pascal Charbonneau. I mean, is Pascal, he's got the knight on c4, but how does he break through? He's brought the king to the center.
Well, probably h6, g5, f4, and somehow with the rook
Try
from
to
the
create
side.
another weakness. Yeah, I mean, white should be able to hold this, right? I mean, probably, maybe. Still unpleasant.
Still unpleasant, and he is low on time. He is lower on time, which matters in this matches. The other plan.
I'm sorry, Dejan. I gotta tell you, there was a really interesting idea coming up. When Black played King C7, I think his idea is King B6, Rook A4, trying to double, allowing Rook takes A4, Pawn A4, Bishop C4, Pawn C4, Rook C4, putting the Rook on A8 behind the passed pawn, and then when White's Rook gets passive, trying to stop it, there's King B5, King B4.
Let's show it to the viewers. Let's say that white is doing nothing here, like rook b1, and then you want to play rook a4. The threat is to double the rook, so they have to capture it. Well, actually here the rook is not standing well. They are not even winning a pawn. So let me do it in a slightly different way. King to e1, for example, nothing move. Then we have rook to a4, your idea captures, sacrifices that pawn on c4, but then rook behind the pawn and the king is coming to b5 and to b4 once that the white rook goes in front of the pawn to stop it. So this is really very fruitful idea and clear attempt to play for the win, but white stopped this by putting the bishop on c2.
Yeah, so he's kind of caught on to it. Definitely with his bishop maneuver to b3, he's shown that he sees that. Now
another idea for black is to do knight e3 and then to try to double the rooks, but white is going to double the rooks as well. So this is not really working.
I don't love this move. What is this move, h5? What is he trying to do? Let white's king come to g5 with that? I mean, it's not so easy, but I don't like this move, h5. That looks a little weird, but maybe he's trying to stop h5 for white. Maybe he decided that was white's counterplay. I mean, I guess it's not so simple.
It's very doubtful that white has any counterplay here. So probably he is trying to just get some time on the clock and confuse the opponent and take away his time before he goes for some decisive break.
Yeah, he might want to put the knight on e4. I think he's got to take a good look at this rook a4 move. Like
rook a4
right
now.
here.
Yeah, right now. Rook a4 is a good idea.
That's it. Let's go. Rook a4, double up rooks. That's lovely. That's going to get ugly for white.
He is listening to you. He's going to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm listening to him. I was listening to his king c7 move.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, that's definitely black's dream. And now the king on b6 is just really well positioned. I mean, the king is so important in the endgame, the way he protects, the way he controls key squares.
Also, knight b5. There will be, in case of rook to e3, knight b5 will be very unpleasant too. So most likely, white is in trouble here. I don't really think that he can dream for anything more than a draw. Oh.
Okay, so this is where he gets that dream of that king to g5. Okay. So, of course, the knight can always go to f7 in a very passive way.
Right.
And he might, but then he doesn't have anything to win with. He can't actually afford to do that. He's got to play actively, and he needs to put the knight on e4. Right. In fact, he should probably play like a3 here, king f4, and knight to e4. And I don't think he should be too afraid of that white king coming in, because somewhere he's just going to play king b5, king b4, and just hope it works out. But
right.
Okay, he didn't do that.
So that's the other plan. I was thinking about e3, knight c4, then king b5, and king takes b4, which is pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
and
this one also.
I guess he did his calculation already that this king can go to g6, but okay, black is going to win more stuff on the queen side, and he should be
I don't
faster.
know. It's kind of, I guess he's going to win the rook, right? I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
I would say this is going to get, it's going to get very exciting, because it's not a lot of time to make.
I think he should keep the knight now, because the knight is winning the rook. So maybe knight e2, knight b3, and then push the pawn. Well, first knight e2, then push the pawn. Well, I don't know.
So we've got some round 2 results. So let me just see that 1 second. So we're about to update you guys on what's going on after round 2, but this is so exciting. Wow. I don't know. I mean, king g6 here. Then what, Dejan?
I don't know.
Knight c2, h5, knight b3, we give up the rook, h6. Who knows? All right. King c3.
I have the feeling, though, that that should
black
be
is winning.
Yeah, that should be a
Yeah.
win.
Wow. I really don't know. I mean, I guess so. But there's so many of those pawns. Like king b2, right. I mean, he's going to give up the rook. Probably right now is the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably, I don't know, king a2, h5. Yeah, I can't tell you that, I'm really that sure about what's going on. I mean, I think it's totally unclear.
What happened now? This pawn is becoming a queen, the h1.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's gonna have to take he's gonna have to take the f2 pawn, try to put the rook behind, try to take on e3. I mean, I'm thinking white's even trying to win now.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
so rook takes...
what happens when it becomes a race?
Well, rook takes f2, obviously, but then h7, right? Rook h2.
Yeah, rook h2,
and then this one probably bishop g4 and bishop to h5 to lock the rook down.
Yeah, I mean, well, bishop g4, he's gonna sack and take on e3, and then actually he's still better.
So he's definitely now taking on e3, and he should be winning this.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, I guess because he's taking there and taking the d4 pawn, black is winning.
Right.
Yeah. So g4, I guess here. G4 is probably the move, but yeah, I don't think white can really do too much to help himself. All right, so that worked out for black. It was definitely not easy, but he kept his cool when he saw that h pawn move forward.
So most likely king e5 now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I will try to set up the result page. But I'm going to need some time.
Okay. So, bishop d7. That's a good move.
Just c5.
Good move, bishop d7.
Just c5.
So c5, g5,
Oh.
c4, g6.
Then just knight
c3.
g4. Just knight g4. Make it easier than that, and then push the pawns. This king is too far
Oh,
away.
you think it's just winning like that? Okay, he could have done that. Yeah.
He's thinking about it, and I think that this is the practical decision. Yeah, he did it. No, he didn't. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
So the pawn came on g5.
Uh-huh. So I think he's gonna use your idea now. He's gonna sack
Yeah,
the knight for the pawn
right.
if he needs to, and play c4 for now.
He's getting some tempos now. Yes, c4, and after that he can start sacrificing. So that would be even better. Yeah. So h8 takes, and takes on g6 after that.
Yeah.
That's the
King White's king is too far away.
Right. Just king steps away, and he should push first the d pawn, because the c pawn is more distant than this king, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
well,
there we go.
He's pushing them in the team,
Cannot catch those pawns. All right.
Right.
So the not the Montreal Sopranos. I mean, Pascal is from Montreal, but the Montclair Sopranos are beating the Toronto Dragons in this second round. Let's see how Alex Lenderman did. Did he win? He won against Batur Sambuyev in the Rook End game. So
no. This wasn't Batur Sambuyev. This was Rizvan.
Oh, you're right. Razvan Priyatu. And Pascal won, so that was 2 points. Mark Arnold won, that was 3 points. And then they got at least 3 points. And the last game, who was their last board, I'm just not sure who's playing on that. But let's see. Maybe we can find out.
If you give me a moment, I will try to set up the results. But I'm going to start the pause button so that you guys can get some rest from us. for a couple of minutes. Then I will try to set up the results, and hopefully this will be better.
So
Okay?
in this, yeah, sure. And in this round, Miami beat Atlanta. Miami champions beat the Atlanta Kings 3-1.
Excellent. So
So
we'll be right back. I'm going for a very short break, trying to set up the results, and after that, I think it's going to get better. Just give us a couple of minutes, please. Okay, guys. After this very, very entertaining music that you got, which really made us sweat, we had to come back as quick as possible. As you can see it, unfortunately, I couldn't set up the results, so Irina is going to tell them to you one
in
by
a
one.
second.
In
Yes,
a
once
second,
we get
yes.
those in. Montreal Chess Bros, we got Li Chao, and Li Chao's name, let's learn that again. It was Chesop. And let's find him. I think he should still be playing. Yes, look, they're at the beginning already of a new game. Well, everyone's on round 3 now.
Yep.
So we're in round 3. We got 4 games in total tonight that we are going to be covering until it goes on to the Western time zone, and there will be another broadcasting team. So what's going on? Li Chao is playing Hammond, and I remember this player. This is Mark Paragua. Currently lives in New York, originally from the Philippines. So what do we have here? We got a kind of, I guess you could call it a London system, isn't it? Even if it's against G6.
I'm not yet there. Excuse me. I still cannot find him.
Yeah, it's Chessawp, Chessawp, and he's playing white against Hammond, Hamond.
Oh, but for some reason I don't have it on my list.
Huh.
Is it very far away from the beginning?
It's the very first game. It's the very first game.
Oh
first.
yeah,
Right up.
that's why I
Yeah.
cannot find it, because it's with small letters, obviously. All right. So what do you think about the position?
Well,
Oh.
let's get to exactly what happened. So they're in some end game here.
We have Eric Hansen here rooting for his teammate, and he says, "Go Li Chao, go." He is he is observing the game. Hey man,
You know what time it is for Li Chao? If he's in China, it's actually like 8, probably like around 8:11 a.m. for him. So he's starting out early in the morning.
I think he lives in Germany at the moment,
Oh, really? Okay.
if I recall correctly, because he's playing German league, or at least last year he used to live there. But
So that means he's like in your time zone, which means
no, he's 1 hour. He's 1 hour behind me.
right. Well, but it means in any case that it's very late for him.
It's very early for him, actually, if we can put it this
Right.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we think about this position? Okay, black can't move too many pieces, and my first impression is that this is good for white.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wants to play. He doesn't want to trade bishops.
Right. But
And
he can.
I mean, do you think he's playing rook b1 to play b4? Is that
Looks like
the
the
idea?
idea. Yeah. it
I
looks
mean,
like
what
the
about
idea.
on b4 there being like c4? Do we just play like
Most likely
what's
he
his
just
plan
captures
there?
that. I think just captures with the bishop, takes with the knight, jumps with the knight on d6, and destroys the opponent with those pawns moving forward.
That's an interesting kind of a double-edged strategy, sacrificing a piece like that.
It's
Yep.
easy to sacrifice someone
Right.
else's pieces.
Someone else's pieces.
Yeah. Well, he's also playing very confidently, and this is quite a typical idea of sacrificing a piece with 2 pawns in this situation. I'm not sure that he's actually not willing to trade the bishops, but I think he can change his mind. After, say, bishop b7, now he can come back on c7, and after that he can decide to trade the bishops. In any case, he forced his opponent to think, which is a good sign for him.
So we've got some results in. Okay. Right. So, this is so complicated. Now. Well, let's try to keep it like as an update. So Montreal Chess Bros are leading New York Knights by 5.5, 2.5
Ooh.
after 8 games played. So
That's
they've got a
solid
pretty
lead.
big 3-game lead.
Hmm.
Toronto Dragons are trailing the Montclair Sopranos 3.5 to 4.5. So the Montclair Sopranos, that was the match that we were just watching. The Montclair Sopranos won that match with a pretty big score. They got 3 points in that match. And they took a minimal lead over Toronto. So that is a very close match between Toronto and Montclair. Montclair, by the way, if you guys are wondering, that's in New Jersey. as well. So just like the New Jersey Knockouts, that's another New Jersey team. Carolina is trailing Philadelphia 3-5. Atlanta Kings are actually leading the Miami 5-3. Wow. So Atlanta led by Gadir Guzanov.
Which game we're going to see in a moment also.
Which game we're going to see at the moment? Well, let's actually see Gadir Guzanov and what do you remember his name?
Gadir Guzanov is playing Miami Chess. Who is Miami Chess? That's an IM.
So I think we can find this. So he's playing Atlanta Kings. Guzanov is just G Guzanov.
I think this game is already over.
Now.
I think this game is already over as Gadir is crushing his opponent with the opposite colored bishops.
So quickly.
It looks like over because on f6.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Bishop h6 and
very nice.
That just wins, doesn't it?
Yeah, obviously he cannot capture because there'll be checkmate on the g file. Okay, unless he sacrifices the queen, which is not really going to help. And there is no other way to defend his pawn except to go for f6, but then either first bishop g7 and rook e6 or rook e6 directly. In either case, white is going to win a pawn at least. And he will have devastating attack after that.
So he has already beaten Dominguez, and now he's beating. We're gonna find out who that is. That is Blas Lugo, international master, from Miami, and we've got Perez Sebastian. Sebastian and Nikhil Kumar is Bonda from Miami. Let's see if we can see any of those. That game by Sebastian. How is he doing for his team? He's playing Kazim Ghulam Ali. And wow, it is a really exciting Cecilia Neidorf.
Sebastian is Dominguez.
Is white. GM Sebastian.
Yes, yes, we are there.
He's playing Kazim Ghulam Ali. And what is going on in this position? I mean, it looks like black is he just won a pawn. And it looks like he's sort of reaching white's king earlier.
No, but after all the trades on e4, there is the trick knight f5, I think.
Ah, knight f5.
And that will force the black queen to go all the way back to e8, and then white can take on g7 on h6. I guess on h6 is easier, and he's regaining the pawn, and he's opening the king, so this should be just great for white.
Yep, it does look like that. So just knight takes a4 here. Knight takes, bishop takes, yeah. So it looks, yep. So it just looks like black was getting somewhere, but actually he's just getting in trouble.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting in trouble. And Dominguez is thinking, so he probably thinks about getting something more than that. Even more than that. Maybe some idea of moving away the knight from the d4 square followed by rook d4, but I don't really think that there is need for him to deviate from this line with knight a4, which is so straightforward and simple.
Can I just maybe add something?
Oh, maybe g5. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe. So how do you want to play these moves? In what order, Dejan?
I want to take with the bishop to make sure that you're not going to take on b3. Just to limit your options.
Bishop takes, knight takes.
Knight takes, knight takes.
And then knight d5.
Ah, you're tricky, Irina.
Yeah, well, we know when your back is against the wall, you gotta look for any way out.
So this is probably why he's thinking. This should be the reason why he's thinking.
Trying to get the queen to move, and then it's not so clear, right?
And if we do it the other way around with knight a4?
So yeah, same thing. So knight a4, knight a4, bishop a4, and knight d5.
Knight d5. All right. And also knight c3 is a threat. Okay, you have a point. Oh, this changes things then.
Yeah, so that's the idea. That's why he's spending some time here.
Mm-hmm. And probably he missed this one in the preliminary calculations, and now he's thinking how to get out of this trouble. But there is also the idea of going for g5, just giving up that pawn on the queen side and going for checkmate on the g file.
Yeah, definitely g5 is I think one big idea for him here. He's probably going to think about that very carefully. I predict g5. I don't know, just random prediction.
But on g5, your idea of knight h5 this time, sacrificing a piece most likely with bishop g5 and after queen h5, going for the queenside attack with a capture
Oh,
on b3 and taking 3 pawns is interesting for black this
yeah.
time. So it's quite a sharp position, very double-edged. Would you like to
All right,
stay
so this
here?
is going on in, he needs to win to kind of even the score for Miami because his teammate has already lost. Um, and what else is going on in Miami? There's a game called Bondo. Bondo is Nikhil Kumar, a young player who just from the United States who just became
Who won
the
the world
world
championship?
under 14 champion and has
Yeah.
had really a good streak of results recently. And let's try, he's playing GM Alonso Zapata. So if you scroll
Okay.
down, GM Zapata is playing Bonda. And we can see what's going on, and it's not so clear. I guess it must be good for white, but white sacrificed a piece.
But those pawns are running very smoothly, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I am not a fan of the rook on a4 doing nothing.
But a
Yeah,
piece
so
is a
I would say
piece.
this is Alonso Zapata is getting the upper hand here against his young opponent. But who knows? I mean, it's not absolutely hopeless yet. Definitely not. I mean, white's not yet threatening anything.
Well, actually, they are not moving that fast. Now,
Right.
once that the move f6 was forced, they are not going to g6. So, oh.
Hmm. Okay. Yes. Try to trade that strong rook.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that idea.
Oh, rook d7 would be played probably very, very, very quickly.
Uh-huh. Rook d7 and like knight e4 or
But then
something.
knight e4, yeah. Knight e4, give me g5 and give me the rook. So rook d7 has been played and we're expecting the move knight e4, right? Oh, first check. And then knight e4. Oh, knight
Knight
c4.
c4.
Where,
Why did he?
where is he going?
Yeah, that's a bit of a strange choice. What could have tempted him to go to that square? He wants to keep the e file open for the rook, but that
Oh, rook e5 is an idea probably. In case of knight e5, rook e5 he wants to play, but then this check is most likely very bad for him.
yeah, this one is actually going to be kind of sharp. I mean, black is definitely not as bad as maybe it looked in the beginning. By the way, why did he just go into b3? Isn't there the move b3 for white, or is that not good?
b3. Hmm.
I mean, b3 he could play just rook a3, but pawn takes, pawn takes. He could certainly do that.
No, I don't think that he wants to take on c4 in this situation. Most likely he would like to take the one on g5 with a check on g3.
Right. Yeah.
And
So
then in case of rook g2, perhaps some rook e1 move is there. Or
so what
even,
do we think white's gonna play here? I mean, he needs to somehow use his kingside pawns.
yes. So I guess that he is not going to get distracted with this b3 idea, and maybe he would just take on d5. And when he takes on d5, then knight e7 or knight a4 would be an idea followed by g6. And probably this is the
Yeah.
easier way for him to play.
Right. Yeah,
And
I agree with that. I think knight d5 looks like the thing, and he actually really wants to. Okay. Okay, I
oh,
thought he really
d7.
wants to get rid of that bishop on f7. This move is possible as well, but I think the d pawn was more of a prize.
Well, I don't really think that this pawn on b7 was relevant, but you see, it was actually important. The knight is still going to e7 and it's ready to support the bishop.
Ah, okay.
So then it makes sense. It
It
makes
has
perfect
some
sense.
idea.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe he could have used that. Okay. So this move looks like a good move. This is actually really important.
And rook b6, there will be full pawns now for
Four
white.
pawns, but at least a couple of them aren't that advanced, and maybe black could, somehow get that d pawn moving. Actually, this knight a5 move is probably very important.
And probably the only move
Yeah.
to stay in the game, yeah.
So my feeling is, what my prediction is about this game. I'll make a prediction Black doesn't lose.
But you know that you're never guessing, right?
Right. Well, no. I guess Pascal. Didn't I guess something? At least I understood what he was trying to do there.
No,
No, I'm
I'm just
hopeful. I'm
kidding.
hopeful.
I'm just kidding. Of course, you're
Every time I
guessing.
have the exact same chance of getting it right.
Do you know Nikhil quite well, or you saw him for the first time at the World
Oh,
Championship?
Nikhil. Do I know Nikhil? Well, yeah. I only met him at the World Youth in Batumi
Hmm.
this year, just in October, and he was part of the U.S. team, and I'd never even heard of him. And he unexpectedly, kind of, I think, for everyone, he jumped out to the leaders and defeated the top Indian boy, Pragnandata,
Yeah.
and beat then the other top American player there, and just won the gold medal with he had sewn it up with 9 out of 10. So, and after that, he followed it up with a very good result in the National Chess Congress, tying for first. So he's made a lot of progress, and it's nice to see him taking part in this event.
In the meanwhile, I just want to mention that Sandro Marequis had already won his third straight game against a Grandmaster again, I think. He's beating the Grandmasters quite badly. This time his victim... Who was his victim this time? Kind of lost this game. Anyway, would you like to go back to the game of Mr. Linia Dominguez?
Sure. So that exciting Sicilian. Let's take a look.
The exciting Sicilian. So Bishop A4 was...
Oh, he did go for G5. Look,
G5.
Dejan, I got Dejan.
Yeah.
Dejan. I'm gonna get it right.
Right.
So many names today. But G5, we got that one.
Okay, knight h5, we got that one. Queen f3, we didn't get that one. We were expecting queen to h4.
Queen H4, yeah.
Okay.
So G6.
G6.
He took the piece.
All right.
Knight takes.
Why did he sacrifice the piece? Hold on a second. I didn't get this one. Why didn't he take on a4? What was the problem with this one?
Why he didn't take on A4? Because of C3?
Oh no, because of knight e6. Oh no,
Knight
knight e6. He can still escape on h7, can't he? So that shouldn't be the problem.
Well, knight takes A4, there's some move C3.
Simply c3 to capture the knight for free.
Yeah.
c3 to take for
Still
free.
got a way to win it.
Okay.
So he gave it up like this, and he's down a piece now. I don't really see his big compensation. He's got 2 pawns for it. Doesn't strike me as enough. Yeah. No, this is not going to be enough compensation. Oh, and I like King A2.
Yep, and he's threatening various nice e6 stuff. So if black starts retreating right now, he is doomed, and on the top of that, he doesn't have any retreat squares, which is the most horrible thing for the queen.
Right, so I think he's doomed, yeah.
Okay, I'll take this one as a prediction.
Right.
Okay, Gusenov, in the meanwhile, he won. This was expected. So let's quickly check what actually happened after the move bishop g7. Black played rook c4. No, sorry. After bishop h6, black played the move f6. And then
Which one are we going to, Dejan?
Gusenov.
Gusenov. Okay. So he's won.
Yes, he has won. So f6 was played, bishop takes g7, and then he just won a pawn. And that's a key pawn, the one which was connecting the king side, and the one which was, protecting the king. Now black has bad king, he had bad pawn structure, so the rest of the game was relatively easy for white. Plus, if you have a look at his clock, at the end of the game he had 11 minutes on the clock, which is just enormous time difference for this time control. 15 minutes and 2 seconds per move. In the meanwhile,
we can take a look at Montreal Chess Bras versus New York Knights. We have not seen any games from
Li Chao.
Leonid Yudasin. We've kind of seen Li Chao, but Leonid Yudasin is Besmal, I think.
Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let's have a look at this game of Li Chao. It's almost at the end. He's playing
Okay,
Mark
Chesov
Paragua.
versus. Okay. Oh, wow. He has no time at all.
He has no time at all, yes. And now it seems like this pawn is going to get promoted.
So if pawn takes, what happens? Pawn takes h5. Well, he lost on time, it appears.
Who?
Black, Paragua.
No, they're still playing.
Oh, you still see it? I see. Well, where I'm seeing it, he already has 0. That's interesting.
No,
I'm just looking at the games on.
Are you at the same page as me?
I'm following this game, and I could refresh my page just to make sure.
It's chess.
Okay, you're right. I
AWP.
refreshed my page, and somehow I didn't have all the games updated. Yeah. So I see that he's got 32 seconds left. And what's going on here? He wants to go rook g8, and so his only move is like g7 here.
No, he's threatening to take on.
Two.
No, he's threatening to take on e6 and to go rook b6 to stop this pawn. So bishop c8 seems like the only move when the forcing line is indeed rook g8, b2, rook takes h8. Black can promote to a queen, and then white also wants to promote, but most likely he's not going to be in a hurry and he will just take on c8. But in fact, like I said, he lost on time.
Right, see, I predicted it, Dejan.
Well, I'm not sure if he lost on time or he just resigned. But
no, it says he won on time.
Probably he won on time. Okay, this is the greatest prediction I have ever seen. So you're definitely the champion. The champion of the predictions today. Nobody can beat you.
All right, so let's go on. So Besmal is a player from.
Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, one more time to interrupt you.
Sure.
The game of Linier Dominguez ended in a very beautiful way. That's why I want to go back there. After the move king to a2, which you praise so high, Black played the move f5.
Maybe you can bring that up for me because I don't see it anymore since it ended, I don't see it anymore in my page.
It's important that the viewers are seeing it, so don't worry.
Yeah.
So after f5, b5, Black tried to counterattack on the queen side, but then knight c6 trapped his queen. And the queen, okay, it can go all the way to g4, but this is going to lose the bishop on e7. And in the endgame, being 2 pieces down, there is nothing to play for. Now, to your game, the game of Leonid Yudasin. Who did you say?
Yeah, so he is playing, his name is Besmal, B-E-S. And he is playing Amon Hambleton from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on? We have an end game here. 2 bishops against a bishop and a knight. Maybe I didn't pick the most exciting game. However, we'll see some end game technique here. What do you think about this position? Can white win this one, or is this looking more like a draw?
That's a very good question indeed. If he trades the a-pawns, I think it's going to be a dead draw. Right now, I think it should be also a draw, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too dangerous. Let's see how like machine, I think, is Bator Sambuyev. How is he doing against Pascal in the match between the Dragons and the Sopranos? That looks actually exciting. And Pascal has another passed pawn.
Hold on a second.
I predict he will queen it.
All right.
It's like machine versus
yeah, this is Bator Sambuyev
Pascal
playing with the white pieces. Right. So who is going to promote his pawn? Is it going to be Bator or is it going to be Pascal?
Well, I think it might be Black's passed pawn because his knight can't approach it.
Right.
And it's supported by the rook.
Right. And he's promoting with a check.
His king is very nice here.
He's promoting with a check. This is the key moment because after d7 and e2, rook c8, white also wants to promote to a queen on d8, but white is one move too short. a1 is coming with a check. So maybe white is going to resign. Still playing. He played rook c1.
Mm.
But if you go passive like that, it's easier if you just resign. The king is just going for your rook. King b4, king c3, king b2. Or he even has the luxury of taking the pawn on d6 first and then
Yeah,
going
he
for the
could even
rook.
play king c6, right?
Right. Or rook d8, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that this is very exciting. Do you want to go to some other game?
Yeah, and how about Alex Lenderman? What is going on with... Oh, actually, let's see Mark Arnold versus I think it's N Nepenthe. It might be. We've seen that player tonight. That's Thomas Roussel Ruzman. So
Exactly,
that
yes.
game is getting kind of exciting. It's some end game. And black looks to be up a pawn.
But white has at least perpetual check with these rooks on the 7th rank.
Yeah. And also, you can't go up to e6 because of mate.
How exactly is the mate?
Well, if you get to play rook f takes f7,
Oh yeah,
king 6 rook e7 is
exactly.
mate.
Yes, right.
So actually, black is in danger here, and he doesn't have much time. I predict a win for white.
All right.
All right.
All
I mean,
right.
I'm sorry, that's an easy prediction. So now he's gonna play rook f. The rook king has to go to the back row. It's kind of dangerous for him.
And
Somewhere,
now
what's white gonna
e5.
do? White's gonna play e5 and knight
Yeah,
e4, and that's it. He's gonna crash in with his knight.
right.
Like
We
right
agree.
now, he's gonna play e5.
We agree on this move with you. Let's see.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah, and Mark is also, he also agrees with us, and he went e5.
Yeah, you just got to activate all your pieces, and now probably without thinking too much, knight e4 looks like it's going. Well,
He
yeah,
will
it's
take his
gonna.
time.
Yeah,
He will
just
take
go
his
knight
time.
e4 if
Or
knight
take on
takes,
d6,
or take on d6.
and then knight e4 with the tempo.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
easier, yeah.
it's better.
Knight e4, and that would be the end of the game.
Wow. Well, this shows you why two rooks on the 7th rank are very dangerous.
I
Um,
predict this is the end of the game. Yeah, Irina.
no more
Last
moves.
move,
Okay.
knight e4, okay.
Yeah, there
All
you go.
right. Okay, so let's go for some other game then. Do you have preferences?
All right, let's take
Sandro
a look at
Mareko?
How about Alex Lenderman?
All
I
right.
think these are some see these games are going to be finishing up, and if they're still being played, is Lenderman still playing or is he done? Because
Let me
I don't
see.
see his games right now. I think they're kind of on a break, actually. I think we're right now where a lot of matches have finished their third game, and
People are
and
waiting
not
for the fourth match.
yeah, they're not all having started. So we have only a few games left. So we have Pascal, who is
Who already ended the game?
no, it's still there,
Oh
but
no,
he's
he's still there.
winning. He's winning. We've got yeah, and we've got basically the next series of games. So we've got round 4, I think, with GM Joel is playing I think his last game against
In the meanwhile, your prediction of Nikhil drawing the game had actually became true. So he
Wow.
drew his game against
Okay.
Grandmaster Zapata. Another great result for the young player, Nikhil Kumar. And which game did you want to see?
Well, I
Pascal?
was just saying maybe time to go and look at Joel Benjamin's game.
Joel
He's
Benjamin.
black against I am Electrongeru. That's the one you
Alright.
want to find. That looks pretty interesting. And
B5 has just been played, so he's breaking the position on the queen side.
yeah.
Wow.
So far, Patagonia has been sort of, not Patagonia, but Buenos Aires has been sort of dominating against New Jersey.
Right, young players, fast players, we know that.
Yeah, and he's playing, this is International Master Ernesto Real do Azua. Did I say that convincingly?
I don't know, I'm not very fluent in Spanish. But one thing I know for sure, Grandmaster Zapata should be pronounced Zapata. And as far as I know, this means shoe in Spanish. But I might be wrong. I don't know.
Zapata.
I think it's Zapata. Z is pronounced S. Zapata.
Oh, Zapata. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
So what
think.
are we thinking here? Joel playing on the queen side with b5. what is that? What does he want? He wants pawn b5, bishop b5, and
He wants to trade everything on the queen side and to pick up the pawn on d5, I think.
yeah, I predict Joel is, well, let's just make sure white can't play c5. No, they can't.
No, they can't.
As long as they can't do that, I predict Joel is going to win this game.
All right.
And I make that prediction based on the g2 bishop. I don't think that bishop is going to move from g2 for a long time.
But at f4, it would be opened, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think, well, it's true. I think he probably should be looking in that direction. But I just feel like white's king is so weak and everything is falling apart and his space is getting attacked that it's very difficult to play this kind of position with white. A lot easier to have the initiative, and it looks like that's what black has here.
But you know, young players, fast players, I'm taking the
that's
other
true.
two results.
He had a very good position before, and look, he did go f4.
He did go
so he's
F4.
definitely trying to improve this bishop. Well, logical move.
Also, in case of the capture, there will be the in-between rook e1 move, I guess, and this is going to be quite unpleasant for black. Otherwise, the queen is plunging into the e3 square. So rook e1 is going to be the in-between problem for the second player in case he captures.
Yeah, so this move is logical. He's determining how white is going to capture back. It takes with the knight. So what does white... Yeah, e4 is that's the thing. He distracted the knight so to make this move and keep the e-file closed. Also move this knight out of position so maybe he can attack the b4 pawn.
But what about the move rook e1?
The rook e1, yeah. Somewhere... Does he want to play rook f to b8?
You're not
Is there
threatening
knight
the thing.
a5?
Yeah, knight a5 simply. So you have to take first on b4. So let's say rook e1, you take on b4.
Well, I would say rook e1, yeah, you can take on b4. There's also, I guess, knight d5 isn't very good because of bishop e4.
Yeah, knight d5 is going to lose a piece most likely because of the bishop e4, both the things hanging. The queen and the knight on d5.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, and there's a funny line there. Bishop e4,
Yep.
queen f6, bishop d5, queen d4.
Knight e3.
And like knight e3. Yeah, you can keep your piece. Okay.
Right. And there is no rook e8 because of bishop f7, huh? Well, yeah, rook can go, but still, I don't really think that this is sufficient. Did he? Oh, he took on b4. The other rook went on e1, so white wants to keep this rook on the open e-file. And he can put some pressure on the opponent's position from there. So I guess this is the idea.
Yeah, this is not so clear.
Definitely
So
not
he has
clear.
to play a takes b4. I don't know what does he think about? He thinks about knight b6.
Pascal Charbonneau, in the meanwhile, he won his game as we were expecting against Batterson Bluff, so I'm closing this one.
So it looks like the Sopranos took round 3 as well. So Sopranos.
Yeah, can you please update us with the results?
I would love to do that, Dejan. I would love to do that as soon as I get them. I think we're getting them soon.
All right. Stripunsky has just started his game. Oh no, he's playing.
Okay, here's what
Middle
we
game.
got. So we got Buenos Aires drew New Jersey in round 3. So Buenos Aires is still up by a healthy margin. Patagonia beat Columbus 3-1. So Patagonia is up by a healthy margin, very healthy margin as well. Atlanta Kings lost to Miami Champions 2.5. So that is a very close match that is being led by Grandmasters Gadir Guzena for Atlanta and Linier Dominguez for Miami. So what was going on there? That was Atlanta was leading Miami 5-3, and now Atlanta lost by a minimal score. So they're still leading. Basically, Atlanta is still leading Miami, but less than before. Carolina lost to Philadelphia. So Philadelphia should take that match.
Okay. It just
So
occurred. It just
yeah,
occurred to me. Excuse me for interrupting you. That we hadn't have a look a game from this very talented and gifted grandmaster from Ukraine, who is extremely sharp and a great tactician. Vovk. He's playing with the black pieces here in his beloved King Senior in defense against the national master DCR MEC. Do you know who is that national master?
I'm trying to find out. Wait, which team did you say he's playing for? He's playing Philadelphia, right? So
Yeah.
he's Bob and he's playing D Cremisi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Daniel Cremisi from Carolina. So
Daniel
let's take a
Kremisi.
look at the game of Andre Vovk.
The last move was a very nice one by black, e3. He was attacking two pieces at the same time, and white couldn't take on e3 because he was losing a piece on the spot. And that's why white actually took on g4 first. Bishop
So he's
takes
losing the
g4.
exchange here.
And now he's
Or
losing. Yeah, now he's losing the exchange. So the move e3 was a very nice one, and I think that he's also going to go for e4. Maybe not immediately. Or maybe immediately.
yeah, he might want to do that. And Toronto, the exact score of that match was 1-3. Toronto, so Montclair has won in 2 consecutive rounds against Toronto, and now they're leading. Montreal Chess Bras, led by Li Chao, are won against New York 2.5 to 1.5. So
Close match.
yeah, actually, that was a close match that round, but in fact, Montreal is leading New York by 8-4.
So it's almost job
Not
done.
that close. As
Unless
I
they
told
lose
you,
all the
what
games.
what really are the close matches here? The really close matches, Dejan, are Atlanta, Miami, only separated by 1 point. So we've known that match, that's a pretty close matchup.
Wow.
And that's it. Actually, that's the one that, is going to be decided in this last round.
Wow, Miami.
Everyone else has a pretty big margin, so it would be very unusual if anything happens. So we can, take a look more at Atlanta versus Miami, I think, in this
All
match.
right. So which games are we going to cover at the moment? If this is the
So
most exciting
Atlanta is
match.
Gadir Guzainov. So let's find Gadir.
I have him here. Let me
Yeah,
see.
he's playing.
Where
Oh,
is
he's
he?
playing Nikhil Kumar.
All right, and he has the black pieces. King
So
Senior in
we've got
defense as
that,
well.
and let's find Sebastian. Sebastian, where is he?
Sebastian.
Oh, I found Sebastian.
I think I also had him here. Yes, he's also
And,
playing with the black pieces.
right, and let's make sure we got the other matches
And
up.
also King Senior in defense here, by the way. So Queen H5, Grandmaster.
So we got Kazim also and Aryam Abro, Carlos Perdomo.
Kazim.
Carlos Perdomo is playing Linier Dominguez. So we just need Miami Chess, Zapata. So let's bring up all those games and focus on this match.
Miami Chess Zapata. All right, we have him.
Right?
We have those.
Zapata.
Zapata.
Oh,
This
we
is
got
going to be
Maria.
very sharp. This is going to be very
Right.
sharp.
And the final one is Kazim Ghulamali. Have you found
Although,
Kazim?
yeah, just a moment. Although, to be honest with you, I don't really think that. I have the feeling that White's attack is going to be much faster in this situation of the game of Zapata. And
Got it.
the move G6, the favorite move of Tal, is on the agenda at the moment. And this is probably what White is thinking about. Should I go G6 directly, or should I go first H5 and after that G6? Which one is faster?
So you like the chances of Blas Lugo playing for Miami here?
Hold on a second. Now I saw that G6 he could have taken and the pawn on F3 was hanging, so probably G6 was a little bit premature, but H5 makes perfect sense, and I have the feeling that White should be fast in this position.
So
Ooh.
let's just make it clear, everyone, guys, that Atlanta is leading Miami 6.5 to 5.5, 1 point difference. And playing for Miami on board 1 is Gadir Guzainov.
Changing my mind, the move f5 was a very strong one. Now he's ready to close the position on the king side.
Yeah, that's a kind of a typical one, right? If it's a
But
for
wait,
this.
after g6, what are you going to play in this situation? Are you going to push e6? I'll
Oh,
take it,
I'm gonna play f4, f4.
f4. But then I will take on h7 first, and then
King
I'm going to play
h8,
e6.
and maybe survive like that.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, f4 definitely looks like a good f5 looks like a good chance for black to keep the lines closed.
And he
on
played
the
it
king.
immediately. And he played it immediately, so he knows what he's doing. Also, the capture on f5 is interesting, and bishop h3 are interesting moves. But bishop h3, there will be knight c4, so this is not that great.
Yeah.
Which was the third game that you were talking about?
Well, there's also
The
Kazim
fourth.
Ghulam Ali.
Kazim.
Kazim Ghulam Ali. Ghulam Ali rises versus Aryam Abro from Miami. So that is a Najdorf as well. So a lot of these guys are playing the Najdorf. And we don't really know what's going on there. I think we can leave that game for a little bit until it develops just a bit more.
I'm still trying
sure
to
it's going to
find.
be pretty exciting. And we've got Kapatl, and I'm trying to remember. Kapatl is playing Lanier Dominguez, and I'm just going to see who that is. One quick second. That's Carlos Perdomo, right? Carlos Perdomo is playing Lanier Dominguez, and yeah, this is a famous line of the English.
Where he sacrificed the pawn?
Yeah, he sacrificed the pawn, and he didn't take it right away, and then he took it.
He wants to checkmate the opponent with knight g4, black.
Yeah, knight g4, and white is going to have to play f3 there.
f3.
So actually, he's probably going to try to attack the c-pawn somewhere.
Yeah, knight g4 is also helping for that one. Then the knight can go to e5.
Yep.
And
Might
rook
do
c8,
that,
of
or he
course.
might play something like rook a c8, wait for b3, and maybe try to carry out some knight e4 idea
Right.
somewhere. So
Right.
what?
Plenty of ideas. Also, bishop a8 is a move here. Even though I don't really think that he's going to play it, but it...
Yeah, probably because
It
of rook
exists.
a8, right?
Yeah, most likely just rook a8. He wouldn't really care. Oh wait, it's black to move. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, so it's black to move here, right? So we're thinking, is he going to play knight g4?
Knight g4.
So knight g4 is going to be bishop h3, queen h3, f3. Knight e5, b3. So he kind of holds it together, I think, right there. But if he starts with rook a c8...
Instead of knight
kind
g4?
I'm sorry?
Instead of knight g4?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe rook a c8 just... Because, you know, my dream is to play like rook takes c4 and rook... Well, I wanted to play rook h4, but I see now it doesn't quite work.
You actually have a little nasty trick here in case of b3 you want to take on g2 and to jump knight e4 and to win the exchange yourself.
Exactly, yeah, that was the idea, to provoke b3, yep.
Right. Tricky. But
yeah.
what is he going to do after rook c8 then if there is no such move? Knight e5 probably.
Knight d5.
With the threat knight f4 and the threat knight e7. And in case of the capture, he wants to take with the pawn, moving it away from the danger
Yeah, it's
zone.
kind of funny. I mean, over there, you would think black would just have like amazing compensation just after knight takes d5. Or wait, are you going to take with the queen or something?
Most
You're gonna
likely, yeah.
Either way, I mean, yeah, black has amazing compensation either way because his rook is just getting to c2.
Or to c5 sometimes. Just double the rooks after that.
Yeah,
In
and
case
white's
of the
going to have
capture with the
difficulty
pawn.
developing. Okay, well, he chose this approach. I mean, does he want to still play rook c8 or no? Wow, something different. Okay, interesting.
So he took on g2 and then he played knight g4. Aha. So he's hitting the pawn on h2 and he's kind of forcing the move h3.
Yeah, h3, he
Knight
wants to
e5.
play knight e5, and I
There
mean,
is the f3 square. So queen f3 is coming with a check. So not only the
Yeah.
attack against the pawn, but queen to f3 check is there.
that's looking dangerous.
And it probably is.
Well, let's try. Let's check it, Dejan. Like b3. So let's make this ugly move.
You don't really care about the checks and knight f3 moves?
I do care, but let's
You
check it.
you pretend that you don't care.
Well, if b3, knight f3, I can play, let's say, queen d3.
Just defending everything. Knight g5 now?
Knight e5 back, you mean?
No, knight g5. I want to take on h3. And I want to
Oh,
checkmate,
knight
yeah.
g5. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Knight g5. Uh-huh. Yeah, I see the problem.
Also, knight e4 is on the agenda. I mean, if you
Yeah,
go h4, I can easily switch for winning material after the check.
right.
And knight
Mhm.
e4.
So he went queen d5, and I don't think that's going to work out too well for him. Because somewhere I'm pretty sure black is going to look at the move e6.
Giving up the pawn on d6, but
Yeah, I don't
untangling
think
his
he's
queen.
gonna think too much about that pawn. Oh, there we go.
There you go, Irina. You just know everything about the players and the moves.
So I get lucky. I get lucky. All right. So where's this queen gonna go? It's
He wants
queen. The
to stay
problem
on
with
the
queen
diagonal.
e4 is that there's f5. You know,
Right.
he's gonna keep pushing this queen out.
But then queen to f4, and then bishop
And then
h6.
g5, and then it's like
Or
trapped.
g5, yeah, g5.
It's not.
That's
Yeah.
even worse, yeah?
Yeah, he's gonna pay for that lack of development. I mean, I think this game is gonna be like a big punishment to white. That's my feeling.
Let's see. Is he getting checkmated after queen d6? What do you think? What is your feeling?
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's not even that he necessarily is getting checkmated. Is that like just like white's gonna play queen, black's gonna play queen f3, then bring in the rook, and white can't even develop normally.
Oh, so instead of getting checkmated, he will get stalemated, which is even worse.
Exactly, something like that. Like black doesn't
Alright.
have to hurry too much.
So you will take on c4, or first rook d8, rook c8, then you take it.
So okay, so queen f3, let's say what, like king g1
King
or
g1, yeah.
okay. So taking on c4 is possible, but then you go queen d1. I don't even want to allow that move. So let's go rook fd8.
Alright. Queen somewhere on where? Oh, it's so horrible. I don't want to look at
Queen
this
a6
anymore.
or something?
Queen,
A6, yeah.
okay, queen e6 defending.
Queen
But then
a6. Okay.
you can even drop the queen back and go for knight f3
Yeah,
and some lines.
that's possible.
But
But
the
the queen doesn't have
simple-
many squares back, though.
Okay, simple rook c8 then. Give me the pawn on
Yeah, rook
c4.
a8 looks good. Okay, this move, I think that is, of course, the idea makes sense. He's desperately, desperately trying to trade. And yeah, black
Even-
didn't see anything better. Okay.
Even h5 and h4 makes perfect sense here for
Mhm.
black. I have the feeling that he has all the time in the world. So, oh, he traded the queens. All right, queen d1, knight d1, and then again he will get stalemated, right?
So, I mean, yeah, like knight c4, black wins back his pawn. I wonder what he's thinking about here.
Knight
Does he-
d3 is also a move,
Oh, okay.
and rook c8 is also a move because this
Yeah.
pawn has nowhere to go.
So this is interesting. I mean, I think white made the right decision, and he needs to try to definitely. I don't think he's like. Is he absolutely lost here? I mean, there's the move b3 and bishop b2. Of course, the rook gets to c2. Yeah, I mean, it's very bad. It's definitely a bad position for white. Knight. Where should the knight go? E5. Bishop b2, rook
Rook b8
c2.
maybe. He's not going to move anywhere. Rook b8. White to move.
Oh,
knight.
rook b8. Yeah.
Rook 8
Oh,
to
that's
b8.
nice move.
We are going to get a very nice version of the banking game
Mhm.
where
Oh,
everything
he-
is equal.
Rook a b8 is a beautiful move.
Right.
Everything is working, and the bishop can't be developed.
Then
knight
e5,
developed.
a4.
Wow. It's really bad. Yeah. Oh, he didn't play this move, but I mean, it was a nice move. I think he just didn't see it.
I cannot guess like you. Sorry.
But your move was good, so I don't think it's a Big deal. D5. So,
Obviously, he wants to double the rooks on the c file. He doesn't
yeah.
want to have them on the b file.
Yeah, I mean, here, guys, just like the center pawn is so much more valuable than the queenside pawn. I think that's why white is having problems. But also the knight on d1, the lack of coordination for white. He's just groveling to get his pieces out, and black has much better coordination.
Yeah, above all, this pawn is stronger than the b1, for example, now, because there are pieces left on the board, and these pieces are clearly in black's favor. If the pieces were off the board, if all of them were gone, this pawn would be stronger, the outside pass pawn.
Right, so if we were just traded off all the pieces and we're in a king and pawn ends game, white would have an advantage.
Exactly. But now he has problems with his knight, and because of this knight, his rooks are suffering. They're disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, this knight would be a lot better looking on d4. D4, but how is he going to get it there? So he has to play knight b2. I don't really know what he's thinking about,
Knight
right?
b2, rook c2. What is your next move?
Yeah.
Followed by rook
And I'll
c8.
never move anything, right? I'll never move a single piece after that.
Yeah, probably he's thinking about rook c1. Should he trade his rook or not? But
Yeah, and he still gives up c2. Yeah.
he still gives up the c file. So this one, are we going to predict it?
Yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah, we don't have to. Let's
We
leave it
don't
like
have
that.
to.
Let's go on and see Banda versus G. Guzenov, young Nikhil Kumar,
Exactly.
playing a very experienced, strong grandmaster. And G. Guzenov is, it's really funny. Do you notice that there's a similarity here, Dejan?
No? In what sense?
Well, the knight is on d1 in both positions.
Oh yeah, this is the similarity.
Yeah, so in this position, it's the Atlanta Kings player that is better, but you know what? He's not as much better as Dominguez is in the other game. In fact, I don't think that that it's that bad for white. I mean, it's much more like of a fighting chance for white in this position.
Exactly, but now when this knight comes to e6, how are you going to defend? Or knight c5, knight e6? Are you
Yeah,
going
knight
to
c5, right. So
probably
unfortunately, it's got a lot of weaknesses here and passive bishop, passive bishop. So let's see how we're going to defend. So you're going to play knight c5. That's a strong move.
Oh,
You know
first
what we're
b4.
going to do, Dejan? Oh, we need to get our knight to e2 somehow. We need to put that knight to defend those squares. Can we do that? Yes, we can. So let's go. We go rook d1.
Yeah, but I think that Gusenov is going to play b4, actually, depriving you of this chance of training the rooks now that I'm looking at the position.
Oh, but he didn't.
He played
All right.
knight c5.
So I think rook d1, and he just needs some way to put that knight on e2.
Okay, knight e6 is most likely the move for black, like we said.
Yeah, and after knight e6, maybe like bishop d3.
Bishop
d3
and
yeah.
knight e2.
Yeah.
But then, do I have time to jump with my knight on f4? I think I have time, because after that I'm also threatening a pawn on h4.
Knight g2. Okay.
On knight
So
e2?
we need to think something here. It's not the end of the world, like bishop d3, knight f4, bishop f1. Maybe.
Alright.
All right. So he's playing this move, which I think is not a bad move.
Which one?
a3.
e3,
He's
okay.
putting his pawns in the dark squares, good for his light squared bishop.
Stopping b4.
b4 ideas. I think that's a very good idea. And can I make a prediction here? I know this was one. I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that white's going to hold this game. I mean, look at that rating difference between these two players. It's pretty big.
Huge.
But I just think he's got a chance. It's not so bad, I think. But maybe Gadir is going to show us wonderful technique. So either way, we're going to win.
So you say this is going to be a draw because you think that
it's going to be a draw. Yeah, I'm saying
this pawn is coming on b4.
I mean, it's not easy, and I mean, there's f6. The problem is there's f6 and there's g5, and actually, it's really tough for white. Yeah. Now, I might want to take that back now that I've seen this f6 plan. F6
Too late.
and getting an outside pass pawn.
Too late.
Yeah. I was really optimistic, I think, but
still, plenty of play.
Plan. The knight's
Plenty of play. Not so many pawns. Which might
How do you,
help Nikhil save the
yeah, I mean,
game.
what can he do after King F6? And if only he
Bishop
could
B3.
stop G5, but he can't.
No, but Bishop B3, he can try to play this one.
Bishop B3, yes. Okay, that's his
And Bishop
only
D6.
chance. Yeah, it's difficult. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, black has a nice advantage here,
Hold on.
actually.
Hold on, let's check the other two games. They're
Like for
not least
example, stay on, like
important.
there's a knight f4, and then your king has to get passive, and then there's still G5, and then the knight comes to D3. It's kind of like a disaster all around.
It's not easy.
Unless a knight D4 is there? No. Can there be that move? I mean, there's no knight D5 idea.
Irina, wait a
Yes.
second. This is an interesting endgame, but we didn't pay attention to the other game, which is Blas Lugo with the white piece against Grandmaster Zapata, and it also has reached an endgame where white has just sacrificed the piece with the move knight e4, which I have my feeling is that black is not going to accept it. As if he captures on d6, there is either rook e6 or even bishop takes d4, pinning this knight on f6, and after that rook e6, regaining the piece, most likely. And here is a funny line: rook f8, rook e6. Oh no, no time even for rook g6 because this bishop is hanging. So this looks exciting.
Yeah, that was some radical piece improvement idea by white, and I really like it how the knight went from b3 to f5. White's down a pawn here, but that's a powerful knight, and that's a really unusual position, so I would not so sure what's going on. Probably black is doing just fine.
Isn't white just
And
winning the
there's
exchange now after rook to d2 or rook e1?
there's no way he can stop that, huh?
Ah, rook f8, he can go for the f5 knight himself. I think rook f8 is a must because if rook d8 there will be rook d2. If the knight moves away there will be knight e7.
Yeah, so on rook, okay. Yeah, this is one of the things is that he could, I mean, he has this mass of pawns, and he might just try to get a passed pawn. He didn't think too much about that decision, which is interesting.
No, he has rook d8, he's not losing the exchange actually.
Ah, he has rook d8.
That's why I wanted to go rook d2, but it didn't really matter.
So what can we say? I mean, is black now better?
But he could have taken on d8 and he could have played knight c6, then capture on b8, capture on e5. Maybe this was the way for white to play, but Blas Lugo is very low on time and he played rook g1 almost instantly, attacking on g5. You think white is better or black is better here?
Okay, well,
Prediction.
prediction. I mean, let me just try to understand what's going on. Give me like 30 seconds here.
I'll give it 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah, it's a little complicated.
Right.
So, what does white want? White wants the g5
The
pawn.
rook, the g5 pawn, the e5 pawn. What is it that he doesn't want actually? This is the right question.
Okay.
I think he'll take on e5, yes, and he will come with this rook into the game. It's not easy to defend this in time trouble.
Yeah, my feeling is that black is fine. Yeah, black must be fine somehow.
Is he going to play rook e8 now? Rook e8 looks nasty.
Rook e8 and on rook g5. Which
Probably
move?
just take everything on e5 and take on h6. Maybe this is the best defense.
Right. But that's worse for black.
Or maybe first take... No, he cannot take on h6 because it's knight f7.
Yeah, this is very tricky. So
something like this.
So actually, now I'm thinking black is worse.
Why? On rook f5 there will be knight h5. On rook e6 he's losing a pawn.
Which move do you want to play here for black?
Oh, I wanted to take many times. Rook e8. To play rook e8
rook
and
e8,
take
rook
many
g5.
times. It doesn't seem good for black indeed.
Yeah,
Wait,
because the problem is if you take on e5 a bunch of times and take on h6, there's
rook
well, I was
e6.
worried about rook e6,
Right.
and that didn't look like so much fun. You're gonna lose a6 and you might lose b5 too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, yeah, somehow Black is in trouble. I mean, he's got some issues with his king.
Irina, we missed one of the games here. What was the fourth game? It might be a decisive one, and we didn't even
It was
cover it.
Ghulam Ali versus Aryam, and oh, we did not see how it went. And it was Aryam. Yeah, that was a sharp Najdorf, and Aryam won. So he just mated white. We kind of said it was going to be exciting and we'd come back to it, and it did get exciting, but we just never came back to it.
Oh, so sorry about
Um,
that one.
so basically, Miami has a point, and they desperately needed that point because they're one behind. So now it's even.
Now it's even, and everything is decided in the last three games. So probably everything is decided in the game of Gadir Gusenov. Is the young player going to hold this one or not? If
Oh
Nikhil
wow, it's a bishop
holds,
endgame now, and oh, it's a very bad bishop endgame. Because
yeah,
unfortunately, it's not even White's turn to move here.
King f4 will happen, and after that, I think he's losing this one.
Yeah, White's pawns are. Well, does he have any chances there?
Is he losing really? Wait a second.
I mean, he probably should be, but
King f4 has
what's
been played.
yeah.
Now the bishop needs to come somehow to attack the pawn on f3 from behind. But
Okay, well that's kind of logical. He's trying to defend
but this
f3.
pawn is obstructing him.
Yeah. So yeah, Black is playing bishop e6 to c4 to defend. So he's probably going to play bishop e6 here.
Yeah, no other idea for him. And then what is White's next move?
White is very unhappy here. It's very bad. Well, he's going to play bishop e8, right? And then on bishop c4,
Bishop d7.
bishop c4, bishop he'll. You like bishop d7.
Yep.
Why bishop d? So bishop d7 h2.
h2 king g2. I need to take this pawn. This is the most important pawn, I think. I should take. You will take these two, but then I will come back with my king in front of the pawn. So this might be actually reasonable drawing chances.
But you don't think you can play bishop h5 and just kind of sit and wait?
And instead of the move bishop...
Yeah, maybe not give up f3 pawn so easily, but just go bishop h5.
Bishop h5, and then just sit.
Right, well, he didn't do that, so he's going for your idea of giving up the h2 pawn for the f3 pawn.
It has been played already.
Yeah, let's see how
All
that
right.
works. By the way, Miami Sharks have won another one.
Yes, this is
So
Grandmaster
Linier Dominguez
Linear
just
Dominguez. Yeah.
beat Carlos Perdomo. Okay, in that endgame. Well, that's not a surprise.
He won
So
a piece
basically now
somehow.
Miami is ahead, and they need. So Atlanta needs to win badly, and also that super sharp game, Blas Lugo versus
Zapata?
Alonso Zapata, and what in the world is going on there? Alonso Zapata
Zapata
looks
is
like
winning.
he's winning,
Yep.
so that's going to be a point for Atlanta. So basically everything like decided by this game. Am I right about that?
So everything is decided by the game of Gadir Gusenov. If Nikhil holds, it's going to be an even match.
Oh my gosh, it
And
says
he
they
held.
drew.
He held, yes.
Wow.
King g2, and he held after
Why,
h2.
why didn't they just keep playing a little bit? What's the problem with? Oh, because he can never win that pawn.
Yep. Bishop
Wow.
c6 is going to defend it. Whenever you take it, you're
Yeah.
getting that one. Right. Okay.
Nice. Well, good job, Nikhil. You saved me.
So this one is still in progress, but obviously Zapata is winning. He is threatening checkmate. There is no defense against this one. It should be game over now. And this is the most exciting match today, which ends in a draw, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, so this match, so Miami won. Miami won. Then Zapata is winning. That's draw. Then Miami is winning. And so Miami won this one by 1 point. But what that means is that over 4 rounds, and 16 games, that this finishes an 8-8 tie.
Wow. I think this is the second match which finishes in a tie today, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, over 16 games, it's not easy for a match to be that close, right?
Yeah, definitely. But nevertheless, they made it.
Yeah, so this match was really exciting. I mean, it was close all along. Wait. Let me see this. Yeah. Final score, Atlanta versus Miami, 8-8.
Do we have
Wow.
any other scores? Do we know the results?
Let's see. Let's find out, and let's maybe see. Maybe we have some other games still in progress, and we could just finish up looking at something else. I mean, this match is done. Oh yeah, we should go and see maybe how Li Chao is doing chess op. Is he still playing? Alexander Lenderman is still playing, and he's in a bishop end game, and that could be an interesting one. Do you want to take a look at that if you're in the mood for bishop end games?
Sure, and it's also with light squared bishops.
Yeah, so he is playing Thomas Roussel Ruzman, and Alex is
Yes.
what?
He's
up
winning.
one.
He's winning. He goes bishop e6, bishop d5, a pawn break with h4, g, queen.
Yeah. Exactly. So we expect
Everything is
Alex to
forced.
win.
Yep.
And what else do we have? We've already got some games, I think, started in the next division. By
Which
the
means
way,
which means that
after
we
us.
need to leave.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Let's just make sure that we're being asked to leave.
Well,
Uh,
I don't think that people are going to be that polite. We just have to go away.
So it says Sopranos versus Dragons, someone is saying, is coming down to Lenderman's game. So if Lenderman wins, so what that means that the Sopranos lost something along the way? Did they?
I have no idea.
Well, and yeah, I mean,
You're the result master.
right. Okay. There's one other game going on. It's Leonid Yudasin is playing black, Barzed, and he's down a piece.
He's down a piece.
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding that correctly. All right. So maybe that's not so
And a pawn.
interesting. No, we've got 15 minutes to go, Dejan, until we gotta go. So we can finish up these games and talk about what we saw today. It's such a new experience.
Right.
Not even like a single boring moment.
So much action. Unfortunately, we couldn't cover all the games, which was physically impossible. And we also realized that the people couldn't follow us jumping from game to a game. But guys, we really tried to cover as much as we could. This was the idea. Not that we wanted to make you suffer. It's just the format of the tournament. A lot of action, very quick games, a lot of sacrifices, exciting chess. You can check the games after that. I'm pretty sure that they'll be available here for everyone. In the meanwhile, let me remind you that this is one of the richest tournament ever made online, with the first prize for the top team $20,000 and the second prize $10,000. 400 players, 100 GMs, some of the top players in the world, not only chess-wise but blitz-wise. Definitely the specialists. We have Hikaru Nakamura, we have Wesley So, we have Fabiano Caruana, and of course we have the world champion Magnus Carlsen. Not to forget this player.
Maxim Vachier-Lagrave.
Maxim Vachier-Lagrave, just name them. Pretty much the better half, the bigger half of the top players are here playing for their teams. And some legendary players, actually, I saw also playing for some of the squads. For example, I saw Alexei Dreyev playing for San Diego. Which is also going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Maybe we're pulling up the Lenderman game. What's going on here? Oh, it's a win, isn't it? I think He resigned or lost on time.
No, he resigned
Wow.
because on bishop e8 there'll be h4 and gg.
Yeah, black is going to do a pawn breakthrough to queen his g pawn, and now his bishop controls that g2 square.
Right.
So I think what that means is that sopranos are winning. I think that's the way I interpret that result.
And hold on a second. Do we have all the results or not yet?
Well, let's see. No, we don't have all of them. Oh, Buenos Aires beat New Jersey 10-6. So they've been leading from the beginning, and that's an exciting team to watch. You know, they don't have as many famous players, right? But on the other hand, they're quite an even team. One strong grandmaster, and I think 3 international masters. And, they took out a team of 3 grandmasters pretty convincingly. So that was 10-6 is a pretty big margin there.
Right.
So we will definitely be following Buenos Aires in the future. Montclair Sopranos, really exciting, pulled out a victory against Toronto. I mean, by 1 point, that game that Alex Lenderman won gave them the victory. So that's a really small margin of victory, and those 2 teams were very close today. Let's see what other results we've got. I don't know if anything has really changed compared to what we saw before. Some of the margins were quite large.
Just a reminder.
Oh, we do have here the results. Let's go through them. So Patagonia beat Columbus, Ohio, 12.5, 3.5. That seems rather large.
Right, and this was expected as far as I remember.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have. Oh yes, let's look at the map. Patagonia must be one of those teams in Argentina. It must be all the way down there in South America.
Exactly. This is where we study our geography in the chess classes. We study geography.
That's true, right? I mean, chess players do tend to be good in geography.
They should be. They should know at least the capitals of the countries that they are visiting.
Yeah, we've got Atlanta, Miami, 8-8 tie.
Very tough
hard
match. Very tough match for the rating favorite Miami.
And Carolina versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia won. They had more grandmasters, and they won 10.5 to 5.5. So almost as I think that was actually the biggest victory of the night. Philadelphia. No, I'm sorry. Other than Patagonia versus Columbus. Then we got Toronto losing with the minimal score to Montclair, New Jersey, 7.5 to 8.5. And Montreal did take down New York Knights 10-6. Montreal Chess Bras, led by Li Chao tonight. They also had Grandmaster Alexander Lesiege on their team. And they had Amon Hambleton and Lefang Hua.
Lefang Hua, who is a famous coach in the area.
Oh, really? Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I've known him. I played a World Youth with him, I think, under 10. So I know Lefang Hua since I was like 9 years old.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, and I have not seen him for many years.
Very
but
nice
Montreal, Montreal took out a pretty good team of Leonid Yudasin, Mark Paragua, Oliver Barbosa, and Jay Bonin. And I would say that is, that match could have been closer just looking at the players. Maybe if we knew the individual results, I mean, Li Chao probably won a lot of games for Montreal. Maybe that was the difference and that he just kind of knocked out all of his opponents. That would be interesting to know.
We'll check it out after that. He definitely won against Paraguay. We followed that game. And an important announcement. Guys, don't leave. After us, there will be Mr. Alex Yermolinsky together with Mr. David Pris, and they're going to show you the next, how many games? 24 4 times 24. 4 times 24.
4 times 24.
96 games. The next 96 games. Stay here.
Yeah, and I might actually stay on as a viewer. Now I just want to watch.
I'm going to bed. Sorry about this. Even though I would love to have a look at this too, but next time.
All right, guys. So I guess we can sign off. It looks like David and Yurmo are ready to go, and our matches are done. So
Thanks for being here. Thanks for following us.
yeah, that was our first day, and it seems to be going really well. And thank you guys for joining us. And I will see you next week. Are you going to be here next week, Dejan?
I'm going to be here next week too. So until next week, enjoy the action. See you.
Good night, everyone.
And have a nice day. The other half.